gentlemen, welcome to the Comic Conspiracy episode 266 for the week of June 21st, 2016. My name is Ryan Higgins, who is here with me this week.
Brock Sager.
Toby.
And Charlie.
And very special guest from the interwebs. He's back. He's got no pants.
No pants.
Say hello.
Hi, guys. It's Julian. And hopefully you're happy to see me back or hear me back. If not, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It's awesome. We've had 2 weeks in a row of guests. This is great.
And because, podcast problems, going to figure out how laptops work. Hopefully this episode sounds all right. Last week, I think I was...
How many years has he been saying, I hope this podcast sounds all right?
Well, I'm still getting some weird spikes here, but Audacity apparently decides to record... and Skype takes control of various audio elements, even though it's not like a local recording. It's like it's going out this way, but then it's coming back in a different way.
It's just playing with your microphone volume, not a specific program microphone volume, but the actual computer's microphone volume.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Skype could be like, fuck you, Audacity, and Audacity could be like, no, fuck you, Skype, and they could just be fighting, and we would never know.
Well, hopefully this episode sounds all right. If not, well, whatever. We'll figure it out next week. Or we won't. So we shall see. How's everyone doing?
Great.
Julian, I heard you went to not your first comic convention, but a early comic convention. You haven't been to too many.
One of my first. I went to my first con last year. Somehow that just had not happened in my life. But
That's
just
awesome.
came back from Denver Comic Con. I was on vacation visiting my best friends, and we decided to go ahead and get those passes like well in advance. So yeah, the last few days have just been a whirlwind of buying tons and tons of trade paperbacks and going to panels and being disappointed in not getting an autographed and commission sketch that I really wanted.
Who'd you want?
Todd Knock.
Of
Young Justice fame. I went early every single day, and I swear, there were some weird magical gnomes that were getting to his table before anybody else because it was closed at the beginning of every day. And,
they're called retailers.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
You weren't there, right? Because that would have been your kids.
No, I was not at that con. I don't go to very many cons these days.
Yeah, you used to go a lot. You've been kind of slowing down, huh?
Yeah.
Just not.
When you have to start paying for your kids, it gets mighty expensive really fast.
Well, there is that, and there's
They're getting to the age where you can't just give them a kid's badge anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, part of it also is just small cons are kind of too small for me. Comic Con's kind of too big for me. So I like stuff like Emerald City, which is sort of has just the right amount of creator support that kind of rotates, so it's not always the same creators there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just, especially paying for smaller local cons that bring out the same people every single time.
Well, it could get old really fast.
I get kind of burnt out on.
So is Denver Comic Con more like those kind of those celebrity cons that are popping up, or is it a little more traditional of a comic convention?
It was a good blend. I know from my friends who went last year, they definitely remarked that this was a much bigger show as far as the caliber of guests that they got. They had Clark Gregg, Haley Atwell, Stan Lee, and that was one nice thing is that we actually went to the Stan Lee panel because we were like, it's now or never. He's retiring, like you said, and he's getting up there in years. So that was definitely a big priority. But, as far as the actual floor, it's a pretty big floor. Nice split of really good comic book deals. But then your, anime tchotchkes and, all sorts
every
of,
convention.
all sorts of, nice blend. Really good cosplayers. Saturday was really packed. It was really tough to get from point A to point B, but nowhere near the insanity that I hear that San Diego is. Because I couldn't do San Diego. Even if I got in, I wouldn't want to go. I would probably just say, here, you can take this pass. Because that's too many people. It sounds way too chaotic. This was really well organized. Got in for the Stan Lee panel, like I said, and then we stayed for the Haley Atwell panel. So yeah, it was a really good time, and just spent so much money on trades, but they were such good deals that I couldn't pass them up. I ended up.
We call that pulling a Charlie.
It is.
I probably got maybe $300 or $400 worth of trades for about $150. Some of them were as low as $250. So
yeah, you get a lot of those. So the dirty secret is that Marvel, DC, and a bunch of these companies will fairly regularly offer like pallet deals. Be like, hey, here's 2,000 trade paperbacks for $2,000. Just take them, please. So you get a lot of these big like trade discounters that'll go out and sell the stuff for next to nothing, which is cool for the buyers, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I wish Bryce was here because I was going to say like, oh yeah, Bryce, I got nothing but Marvel trades, but I guess that's because like they're the trades that nobody wants anymore. I don't know, but
well, Marvel a few times a year, absolutely does do that. We actually just restocked a ton of trades because we were able to get a ton of used trade paperbacks.
Yeah, you got that Avengers Johns Volume 1.
Yeah, well, I already have that, of course.
Well, no, you got that. That was part of it.
That was one of them, yeah. But they just had a big
snagged
hardcover collection, so yeah, you sell them very cheap. And
Yeah.
get them
So what was your highlight out of all the trades you purchased? Which was the one that you're like, I can't believe I finally have this?
I don't know if it was like I can't believe I finally have this, because I was actually just picking. This guy had like 3 trades for $10 or something like that at one point. I was just kind of picking stuff that looked interesting. I think the one that's probably the biggest get, as far as like just knowing that it's a pretty good story, is Assault on Greymalkin for X-Force. It just looked like, I was like, it's Greg Capullo art. It's Fabian Nicieza, I believe, is the writer. So that just looked really interesting. And then one, I don't know, it was weird because I ended up picking up the first volume of the Iron Man that I think was Kurt Busiek, like right after Heroes Reborn.
Yeah.
Which is a great run. I actually have the individual issues, but I almost pulled the trigger, and I'm kind of kicking myself that I didn't, because somebody had the omnibus of that run for like half off, and I was like, well, that's still like $75, but I'm thinking, I probably should have gone ahead and got that, because I didn't get the entire thing in individuals when it was printing, and I would like to have read all of that, so that was kind of a missed opportunity, but I still got so many good things. I'm going to be reading trades for like the next year and a half.
Yeah, so on those Iron Man, send Ryan a list of what you need, and we'll check the back issues.
Yeah, definitely. I was able to fill a huge gap in my Impulse collection, and that was great.
Oh, nice.
Got a good like 27 issues, and I think it only ran for like 80, so that's like a big chunk of what I need. I was really happy about that.
I think Impulse went for 90-some.
It's just kind of nice to hear a guy going to a con that's still about the comic books. It's kind of rare these days.
There was a ton of books there. Definitely varying in price.
Nice.
Yeah. No, a good showroom for bargains and stuff is really important to me when I go to cons.
Yeah, and this was a nice one. I was really pleased, and definitely spent way too much money, but at the same time, I have so much to show for it that I'm not really sweating it too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I've gone to so many conventions, I feel a little bit of that burnout, so I'm happy to take a little bit of a break, but then kind of switch my conventions to things like Heroes and Villains, which are focusing more on autographs and pictures and not the back issue hunt, not the trade hunt. Because at this point, if I start to pick up back issues again, it's going to be my Justice League collection. I've been, I did Avengers, and I'd been working on Justice League for a long time, the Silver Age stuff, and I have a good chunk of them, but I think once I finished my Avengers run, that was sort of it. I was like, I finished my one big run, but Justice
That's
League
until somebody brings a collection into the shop here.
I don't see Silver Age stuff anymore.
No.
I really just don't.
It's still out there somewhere.
Yeah, but I think that might be the next one. I go back and figure out what I still need.
You gotta finish your Legion bind.
Well, I have them all. The binding is the long process, but we'll see.
But if he hurries up and does that, they'll announce the omnibus.
Do you do a lot of like autographs and stuff at the conventions, or do you usually just kind of go more for the back issues and
commissions
and stuff?
I definitely went for the back issues. I mean, the big thing that I wanted was that Todd Knock commission. I wanted to get an Impulse sketch because one of my friends was just at a convention in Houston like the week before, and he got me a Ryan Otley sketch. So I was like, oh, I've got a sketch from like my favorite artist on my favorite book, Invincible. Now I need like my other favorite artist on my other favorite book, Young Justice, and then have them like hanging next to each other. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. Awesome. But yeah, it was. I was planning on going to get Katie Sackhoff and Carl Urban's signatures, but then it just didn't end up happening. But I guess it also depends on the caliber of guests. Like, is the Flash cast just not doing the tour, like the runs? Because I haven't seen anybody from the Flash at any of the conventions I've been to or heard of them.
Iris is doing the heroes and villains stuff, or some of them, some of the stops at least. But Grant Gustin doesn't seem to do a lot of public appearances.
No. Yeah, see, if Grant Gustin had been there, I would have been all over that. And I mean, who cares about Iris? I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I think Grant just is not into it. I mean, it's personal choice, right? I mean, it's not against the fans. It's just I don't think he likes doing these kind of things.
Didn't he tweet out the title for season 3, episode 1?
Yeah.
Yep. We'll talk about that later. What's well, I don't know. Do you any last thoughts about the convention? Maybe we can talk to some TV movie talk.
No, I think that's probably about it. I mean, like I said, it was a really fun show. I would say, I guess one thing, news-wise, I don't know if it's really news, is, of course, people were asking Haley Atwell about the fact that Agent Carter got canceled, but she still seemed pretty confident that they were going to find a new outlet for it, like Netflix or something like that. And somebody did ask, how she felt that other female agents later on down the line would have looked up to Agent Carter, or how she would have helped form Shield, and she said, "I think that we need to explore that in season 3 or a movie." And she seemed very confident, very adamant about continuing that character in some form or fashion. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I mean, I wouldn't mind if they did more, but they need to step up the game because, well, this actually is a great topic that we're going to be talking about a little bit later.
I wouldn't mind if it's 6 episodes instead of the 12.
Yeah. Or
10?
10, 12? Was it 12?
Yeah, but if you can't hold the quality for 12, then go to 6, right?
Yeah.
For me, it's more about the story than anything.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead.
I was going to say, you guys were pretty down on season 2. I actually really enjoyed it, but I think for me it was mainly the them cementing more of the relationship of Agent Carter and Jarvis. I thought they worked so well together.
I love the big lady. I thought she was freaking awesome.
Oh, Madame Mask? Well, it wasn't really Madame Mask, but...
Is that who it is?
Yeah.
Really?
I kept waiting for her to put the mask on, and it never happened. I was so sad.
I thought she was awesome. I thought she was pretty great in this season.
I hate her.
I guess for me, all it really comes down to is season 1 set the bar pretty high for that show, and season 2 brought the bar back down to S.H.I.E.L.D. or even potentially below S.H.I.E.L.D. level.
I thought season 1 was good, fine. 7 out of 10 maybe. I thought season 2, I didn't even finish it. I thought it was so bad.
Oh, wow.
I thought it lacked any, the main character is going to survive. Fine. But even when they tried to do dangerous stuff within the show, like her getting stabbed, run through the gut, and then the next episode she's just up and walking around. They really felt like there was no consequence to anything. They set up what could be potentially the most dangerous threat in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it just feels like nothing. You feel in the first season of Agent Carter that even though I understand that this sort of prejudice continues even to this day, they kind of got that out of their system in the first season, and I was hoping season 2 would move that plot on of her being kind of, the woman. But they just, all these people that were, by the end of the first season, on her side, suddenly just kind of feel like, we're just going to go back. It's like the episode of The Simpsons, just reboot everything back to the way it was at the end of the episode, and I didn't feel anything carried over.
So for me, a large part of the issue I kind of had with season 2 is season 1, she kind of had a support staff, but she was more than capable of sort of taking on a threat herself. In fact, most of the time, she was the one most capable of taking on a threat.
It was hilarious that the guys kept being like, "What? Just a woman," but I'm like, yeah, but she saved your ass every single time.
Yeah, season 2 kind of felt like it shifted the other way. Like somebody else kept having to show up to save her when, sure, she'd be in a long drawn out fight, but it was always like Jarvis showing up at the end and knocking the guy out, or I don't know. That just started to frustrate me watching the show. The fact that they kept kind of having to have somebody else step up.
Yeah. Kind of removing her edge a little bit.
Yeah. Because I liked her edge in season 1. I liked the episode where they brought back the Howling Commandos, and the Howling Commandos just were kind of like, yep, you just stay out of her way. She will handle this.
That was a good episode.
Everybody else was kind of like, but I like that Carter. I like the Carter where she can hold her own as good as anybody else on the Howling Commandos and all that. kind of thing.
S.H.I.E.L.D. seems to have that problem. Carter, Agent Coulson, like they're really great, and then the more we see them, the more they suck.
It's weird, right? Because it feels like Marvel and DC are completely reversed when it comes to their TV and cinematic stuff. Where, the Marvel cinematic universe is this huge interconnected thing that feels very cohesive, but then their television shows just feel completely shunted off and nothing really has consequence. And then it's like the reverse with DC, where I feel like their movies aren't very connected. I mean, I guess they're trying to now, but then their shows are just so intricately interlocked in such a way where even if you're not paying attention, or if you are paying attention to all of the shows, they're just a little bitty threads there's Cisco on an episode of Arrow, and it's not a big deal. It's just hey, he showed up and did a thing, or
I love that.
I love those shows so much.
I mean, going back to Hercules and Cena, they kind of shared a universe where they shared characters that were on both shows. If you watch,
they're setting up the Netflix shows to sort of be their own universe.
Yeah. But it's weird that the Netflix shows are they go out of their way to not mention the Marvel movies, sort of the way that it was so agonizing trying to watch Supergirl at the beginning, the way that they were the Man of Steel or your cousin. It's like they did not want to say the word Superman, and it's what? That's weird. You didn't get the rights to it? You're Warner Brothers.
I know a little while ago, Greg Clark had said, the guy that plays Agent Coulson, I think it was him. It was someone on the cast, I think it was him, said that, the TV shows are just ignored by Marvel Studios at this point. And so they're like, we're just doing our own thing. It doesn't matter. And it totally...
might be for better anyways.
At this point, I think we all wanted the opposite, but now I think we realize that, no, this is actually probably the better way.
Well, I just feel, as a big fan of Agent Coulson, that the fact that he's been walking around for the last 3 years and none of the Avengers know it, it's just that's a bad thing. He should have shown up in Civil War just to Cap know, hey, I'm fine, I'm here.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Well, I love it when in Age of Ultron, where they're like, oh my God, S.H.I.E.L.D.'s here, and then Nick Fury comes, and you're like,
here's Coulson.
Not Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the TV show that runs alongside this. They're nowhere to be found. Oh, okay. Good to know, guys. Great. Yeah, so weird. Such a weird disconnect. Well, let's talk about a different Carter. Let's talk about Lynda Carter. Let's talk about
President!
Wonder Woman, or as we will now call her, Miss President. No, what do they call it?
POTUS.
POTUS, sure. Miss President of the United States of America. I think they're going after that. After the Bernie flame out, now they're going with with Clinton here, right? So we're going to get Lynda Carter as president of the DC universe in Supergirl, and presumably after the crisis that is coming up in Flashpoint, we're going to have Supergirl universe merge back over with the regular universe. So. Lynda Carter is going to be on Supergirl TV show as a president of the United States of America. That's pretty great.
Yes, that is.
If only it was this easy to elect decent people to politics.
I'm waiting for the isn't she a wonderful woman or something like that. There will be some line. Now, here's what we need, right? Everyone's seen Flash. No spoilers. We talked about this last week, but I'm sorry, full spoilers. Flash finale where Wally's Barry's dad is now, right? He's the original Jay Garrick, right? Now we need Lynda Carter to be the Wonder Woman of Earth 3, apparently, because that's where they're going to put the JSA. So she can be, this is how this has to work. She'll be the Wonder Woman of Earth 3. It's just now she's on the regular Earth. So I'm down with this. They'll do it. They got to do it. Brock's just giving me this look.
I'm like, go for it. I'm like, maybe
Her 5 will have Supergirl's dad being Superman.
I'm like,
they cast what's the guy's name for Superman?
Yeah,
they go to the internet because none of us have that.
It didn't end up being okay.
Tyler Hoechlin, who's going to be. He was from I think Teen Wolf. I think he was doing some work on Teen Wolf and something else. So I don't know. He looks like a guy that could play Superman. So he looks a little younger than I thought they would have made him, considering he's supposed to be 10 to 15 years older than Supergirl.
Yeah.
He doesn't look quite that old, but sounds good to me. Now Superman's there, Wonder Woman. We should need Batman.
It's like they don't want to put Batman on TV. Like,
they don't.
It's Gotham is like, Gotham. There's this kid named Bruce Wayne. You know about him, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like,
That's okay. Gotham doesn't need Batman on Gotham.
No, but Gotham needs to be what?
It needs to be Gotham Central, damn it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Give me my Montoya, give me my Harvey Bullock. Well, I guess he's on Gotham, but...
I was going to say. That's a good Harvey.
Let's go slightly over here. Let's go to the... this is going to be a TV conspiracy, guys. Sorry. Let's go slightly over to the Fox side of the DC universe. Gotham Season 2. What? So, first of all, here's a question. What happened to Montoya and Crispus Allen, who were in Season 1 and just not in Season 2 ever?
That's true.
Yeah.
Which is a little weird. So, if
they didn't have anybody to investigate, right?
It's real weird.
They only need to be brought in if there's somebody who needed to be investigated on the GCPD.
No,
and Gordon didn't give them enough reason to come in and investigate him this season.
I don't know. I only saw like 3 episodes of Season 2.
He was a cop. He was not a cop. He was a cop. He was not a cop.
Yeah. So if you remember back to the early part of the season, I was heaping a ton of praise on those Joker Kid episodes, which were absolutely fantastic. And then they kind of spent the next there's so much potential. So the finale has Gordon, Bullock, and the GCPD versus Hugo Strange, Firefly, Clayface, Mr. Freeze, the Court of Owls.
Nope.
Kind of.
No. I'm just noping the whole situation.
Like, who else? I feel like I'm missing someone
Fish
else.
Mooney.
It wasn't
Fuck
Fish
her.
Mooney.
She's the worst.
I'm still going to include her because I went through all the trouble of bringing her back.
Where was Selena in this?
And basically Catwoman, right? I mean, Catwoman is kind of playing both sides.
Yeah.
Like,
Azrael.
Azrael was before, but the variant, the very finale, it's like, how is this not the greatest show ever? And it's just like, this show's fucking weird.
See, my thing is, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with what they did specifically with the Riddler or with Azrael or with any of the individual villains. It's just at this point, getting all these villains to the point where they're at in Gotham so pre-Batman just has me totally convinced this version of Gotham, there will never be a Batman. Because apparently Gordon can...
The villains got there first.
The villains got there first, and Gordon can take care of it on his own.
They could do everything, yeah. Well, Gordon, too, is...
Well, maybe this is the one where Gordon becomes Batman. He actually becomes Batman. Instead of he taking over the cowl, he actually starts the cowl.
It's very possible because Gordon's a monster in this show.
I loved that last Snyder Batman arc with Gordon as Batman. So I know I'm in the minority, but that would be all right with me. I might actually watch the show then.
I just don't know. So the problem always comes back to, I really think, what's the showrunner guy? Bruno Heller, the guy that runs the show. He falls into the Joel Schumacher problem of, I think he only knows the 60s TV show because Dutch camera angles everywhere. Hugo Strange is, you can't take anything these characters do seriously in the back half of the season. There was really good shit in the first half, but man, this back half is goofy as all get out. And it just doesn't fit the tone of the show they're going with for everything else. So I don't know. I'll keep watching, but boy, what a weird last couple episodes. Well, and Hugo Strange is just, I think he's dead. I don't remember where they live him off, but what a weird.
A lot of time it's the hero comes first, and then the villains come out of the woodwork after.
Of course,
this is the villains are coming first. We don't even know if there's going to be a hero.
Why not? I don't actually mind that.
The only part of that bothers me is
you got the Batman universe without Batman.
They fully do the Mr. Freeze origin. He is now completely Mr. Freeze with a cold gun and all of that.
And he's a skinny scientist-looking guy.
So yeah,
okay,
so far prior to Batman being on the scene that it's just weird. Yeah. And the fact that at this point the GCPD is holding their own against essentially all of Gotham's villains already created.
Yeah.
Why do we need Batman?
Yeah. exactly. And that's sort of my point. And if I look at it in that way, like this is an Elseworld of Gotham without Batman, it kind of works for me. But that's if you firmly establish this is Gotham without Batman.
Yeah. Well, I think you get, Batman becomes Batman because crime gets so bad, and then the crazy villains come out. I'm actually okay with the crazy villains are out, crime gets so bad, so then he finally, he has to step up because he grows up. The problem is, at the rate in which the character ages naturally, so much shit happens in one season. By the time he's 25, Gotham's going to be a hole in the ground because
no man's land.
Yeah, or worse, because we're 2 seasons in and Bruce is 16, 17 or something like that, maybe. And
first season he was like
13 or 14.
Yeah, I was going to say he's younger than that. He's
however old he's supposed to be. He's got a decade before he's Batman.
Yeah,
well, and he still has to leave apparently, right? Because he has to disappear for.
Well, they don't have to. Well, I mean, he has to
X amount of years. Just
he has to
insert
do his
a
training.
number.
But it's just bizarre to me that they're going to try to, I don't know how many plots you can drag out before he becomes Batman, because obviously, like Smallville, that's just the end of the show. So you don't have to do any plot. You could do every plot before he becomes Batman, and then you never see his adventures because he just has other adventures, which is fine. But I just wish it was a better show. It has sparks of genius, really great episodes, and then just. Like, literally, Hugo Strange and his partner or sidekick with the purple lipstick was, laughing maniacally.
She was the worst.
They're all terrible. Like, a lot of them are really bad. And there was a potential. That guy could have been a good Hugo Strange.
Yeah.
But he's just a cheesy 60s villain. And
he was just
that.
I'm going to experiment on all these people and basically create all the Batman villains here in Arkham.
Yeah.
What, isn't it the actor who played the scientist guy on Jurassic World? The original and the new one?
Is it?
Is it the same guy?
I don't know if it's the same guy.
I don't know. I don't remember what his name is.
So
I could look at it. It might be. Actually, it might be.
Well, while you're looking that up, I was very confused when you guys said the girl I liked on Agent Carter was Madame Mask. It's not. I'm talking about the big girl, not the villain.
Oh.
I thought the big girl was really awesome.
Big girl.
The scientist crush. Yeah. I thought she was phenomenal.
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah, I was really confused when all you guys were telling me it's Madame Mask. I'm like, really? I just don't see that at all.
I thought you meant the big girl is like the big bad girl. Like
no.
Oh, yeah.
The big lady. Yeah, I thought she was awesome on the show.
Yeah.
Because in the first Jurassic Park, he was like this wide-eyed scientist making dinosaurs. In Jurassic World, he's like
villain.
He's like, I'm making it for money.
And then my money.
Now he's Hugo Strange going, I'm just gonna make crazy people.
Yeah, that's weird.
Well, I'm kind of glad I jumped off and never came back on. I think that villains arc was the last thing I watched. I just couldn't do it anymore.
Which one?
Gotham.
Well, it's still the villain stuff. It's
but that's 3-episode run. I was like, I watched, I liked it, and I kind of never came back.
The Joker Kid stuff?
Yeah, and that was kind of it. And I had problems with the first season since the get-go. So.
Oh, yeah, no, me too.
Yeah.
It's, like I said, sparks of genius, but misses the mark more often than...
As I said, as long as I frame it as a Gotham
Elseworld.
that there will never be a Batman, it's actually...
It's cool.
Really good.
Yeah.
So
I just wish they gotta kill that 60s influence because, man, they could do... I mean, just show as is, change nothing, just kill that weirdness, that vibe, and it would totally work.
Well, it's funny. One of my friends who's not a big comic book guy, he knows Batman a little bit just by whatever he knows, right?
Yeah.
He keeps telling me that's his favorite show. I'm like,
Gotham?
how? Yeah.
I know people that really like it.
How can you like this show so much? He goes, well, it's not like Arrow and, a Flash where I don't know anything. I'm like, I know these villains.
Yeah.
And I like seeing all this stuff. I'm like, but it's all so wrong. And he goes, oh, no, it's so right. I'm like, no, okay, never mind. Just enjoy it. It's like...
But Flash and Arrow do such a good job of introducing you to all those characters over time. Like that's kind of a weird argument to me.
Yeah.
I think we should start a petition to get Warner Brothers to make Gotham Central TV show. I mean, just
no, it's not going to happen. Gotham needs to finish off, and then we'll have to wait 5 to 10 years, and then we'll get Gotham Central. We'll still be alive at that point, but it'll be a while.
Well, let's keep this DC bandwagon rolling, and then we got some Marvel news.
So is
coming
this
up
the point where Bryce shuts the podcast off?
Yeah. For those of you that hated Batman v Superman and Man of Steel, and boy, are there many of you, we're hoping that obviously Justice League, now no longer called Part 1, just called Justice League,
Thank God.
will be much better. They had pulled out a bunch of people. I mean, the movie's not out for a year and change, right?
Is it next year?
Isn't it?
2017?
Yeah. But it's like end of next year, right?
I don't know the exact date.
Yeah,
but I thought it was. Aren't they shooting for May? Because I know there was a huge problem with like lining up with Marvel.
No, it's November. November.
So
November 17th. Okay. Yeah, so we still got quite a long time. They took a bunch of reporters out to the set, showed them footage, explained the plot, had what's his face, Ben Affleck and
basically doing a PR recovery move.
Yeah, and Zack Snyder come out and be like, "Look, it's gonna be better. Please report this and tell people." IGN had a little list here, and a bunch of sites talked about this today because this all got released today. But we'll talk briefly about this. If you want no spoilers about Justice League, stop paying attention. Superman lives, obviously. He's in the movie. He's got longer hair, but not like Black Matrix-y Superman. I don't know how soon he's going to come back, but he's going to be back within the context of the movie very quickly.
I thought he's coming back in the movie.
Yeah, it's going to be in the movie. Yeah. Batman's got a couple new gadgets, a couple new gizmos. They have a sweet new Batmobile, which I don't know why he changes his Batmobile like every fucking day.
Well, yeah,
merchandising.
Yeah, exactly. He's got
the same reason why all the Marvel movies, they change their costumes every movie.
Yeah.
Like how many Hot Toys can he sell if they, and how many action figures?
He's got the Nightcrawler, no relation, or simply the Crawler. It's a 4-legged vehicle through tunnels and like scale walls and everything like that.
So he's got a Spider-Mobile?
Sure, kind of. And he also has the Flying Fox, a giant aircraft that looked larger than a B-52 Stratofortress. Big, giant, like... This is like Justice League helicarrier is Batman's giant fucking plane.
So we got a shield helicarrier in there now?
Yeah.
And Morgan Freeman's going to be really busy in this movie, huh?
What's that?
Morgan Freeman's going to be really busy in this movie then.
Yeah. We learned
Jesus, Lucius.
that they announced finally Willem Dafoe is going to be playing Volko. That's Aquaman's like right-hand man guy from the Aquaman comics, which that's kind of weird. Yeah. That I mean, I guess if Volko's that big of a main character, that's awesome. But
Volko's one of those. He's the passionate follower of Aquaman, but his choices he doesn't make the best choices.
No, I mean he's one of those good characters that
he protects Atlantis.
He protects Atlantis regardless of the
side. Yeah. So that'll be a very interesting, character to focus on, because I figured they might have just completely avoided a lot of the Atlantean politics and everything.
We're getting Mara's in the movie.
Well,
too.
Mara's in it, right. Mara's also in it, but so they filmed. They showed like complete scenes with them just interacting. There was talk.
If they do the full-on sort of recruitment sort of stuff that they kind of set up at the end of Batman v Superman, you might have some good in-depth scenes like in Atlantis trying to recruit Aquaman and such, which would explain why Volko could be there, basically being leave the surface world to themselves, and Mara could be the other side of.
Sure.
Yeah.
There was a couple scenes that had like they were focusing to show them the scenes that had comedy and comedic aspects and lighthearted moments. So you had Flash and Batman kind of going back and forth. Again? I don't know. I'm sure. I mean, maybe they'll have someone swear. Marvel always gets one good F-bomb off in a movie or a good higher end curse. There was I'm trying to remember. It's not on this article that I'm referencing here, but there was there was talk that Flash's armor is actually created by Wayne Tech. However, it doesn't really look like the Flash. It's like, oh, what's this? It's like the thing in the movie. Like, this doesn't look like armor. But apparently they're like he is in a more traditional suit by the film's end.
Now,
Yeah, they made it sound like through the recruitment and stuff, there would be changes that went on.
Yeah,
So
and also Flash does not look like he looks in that scene. He's clean cut, short hair, Barry Allen.
What does he look like? You barely make him out in that scene.
Well, but he's got
he
like
looks
that
like the guy that should be robbing the convenience store instead of protecting it.
Yeah, he does, right? He's got that long stringy hair. He looks like a drug addict or something. Like he didn't look like Flash.
Oh, you're talking about the surveillance footage of him?
Right.
Because I was like, I couldn't recognize, like, it was like when Bruce is having his vision or whatever, you're like, what the? You could barely make out what was going on.
No, so I think they realized Flash needs to look like Flash. He's not going to be...
No.
Yeah, he's going to be a clean cut. I mean, of all of them, Flash and Green Arrow are like the clean cut guys. Even Batman...
Green Arrow? I mean, he's got...
Green Lantern. So did I say Green Arrow?
Yeah, Green Arrow.
Green Arrow.
I was like,
Green
hello,
Lantern.
he's part of the facial hair bros club.
Cop and military, military-ish.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, those guys, even Batman, Superman, they can get Aquaman. Definitely, they can get all scruffy looking all they want. But those guys are the ones that always need to be look clean cut. Cyborg, as we assumed, will be very little human and mostly cyborg. So a lot of mocap, a lot of CG there, which is perfectly fine. I think that's the way to do it. The plot of the movie, the villain of the movie is Steppenwolf. They're not even trying to hide this fact. Steppenwolf is one of Darkseid's right-hand men.
So that is who we're going to see in the Ultimate Edition.
Yeah.
That's
probably
That Lex, okay.
And supposedly the movie's about getting those mother boxes.
Right. And so the mother box that
which is not
Cyborg,
confirmed it is mother boxes.
I think they kind of shied away whether those were the mother boxes or what was going on with those, but they're obviously the mother boxes.
We get the Ultimate Edition at the end of the next month.
And the next month, yeah. So,
well, it's coming out soon on digital.
Yeah, the beginning of July you'll be able to get it on digital.
So
it's June.
End of June.
End of
Is
this
it
month,
June?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're definitely going to get Darkseid unlikely to actually appear in the movie, maybe post-credit scene,
hopefully it doesn't look too much like the Thanos turn.
Well, it's good because they don't want to shoot off the big load right away, so they're at least planning now.
Yep. And I don't know. Aquaman wears jeans. That's their last bullet point.
Didn't they do the title, like the title font and stuff?
Yeah, they showed a picture, and they showed a picture. The title, the movie is called Justice League.
Yeah.
Period.
Well, there's no period, but
just Justice League, and there's like the star. It's like an old school logo for Justice League. So you can say all you want, all the bad stuff you want about Superman, Batman, and Man of Steel, but if they are appealing to that Marvel type of style, and they're Snyder could do some great action. I don't care what anyone says, but hopefully Johns and Ben Affleck and the guy from
isn't Johns more heavily involved now?
Yeah,
he's supposed to be. Yeah.
And so I mean, they're there shooting the movie, so I expect there was some very late night scripts being rewritten and things being changed up to try to make it a little more lighthearted, and especially with Wonder Woman and Suicide Squad out so soon.
Well, they're saying Batman in this one is different. Basically, he is taking Superman's loss quite hardly, so now he's more a hopeful Batman. He's a hopeful character.
This is what I said when we watched the movie. If you look at the end of that, the Batman at the end at the funeral, you could tell like they already tried to address that change within the context of the movie. Maybe a last minute addition. Maybe they filmed it really quick. I don't know what the change was, but yeah, we have gone from this dark, beaten down Batman now to a more classic take on Batman. And to me, same with Superman. If Superman is resurrected and realizes, oh shit, I got to stop moping and get off my ass and actually be Superman, the person that the world now looks up to, and this is the transition, then fine. I'll take this path, but I don't have a problem with Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. I really like them, but
we know.
Yeah, I know. But I have to admit that I want to see these characters, especially with the success of the Rebirth books this month. I want these characters to be brighter and lighter and funner.
Well, you like when we talked about it, especially with Batman v Superman, that the characters didn't seem like they were all there. Like there was something missing, like that we didn't necessarily see, or like there was
Well, Snyder's defense was that, people don't want to see the deconstruction of the character. They want to see the crazy over-the-top action. And I agree with that. I think it's absolutely true. You can have your deconstructionist Batman or Superman movie, but it can't be at the start of a 20-film franchise, right? I mean, that's not this movie. Yeah. If you want to get Darren Aronofsky to come out and do his Batman movie, then fine. Make it a little one-off thing on the side and just freak out the normals. But for everything else, it's...
Well, because I'm curious to see what Batman we're going to see in Suicide Squad.
I expect Squad is perfectly fine to have a darker Batman.
Yeah,
because
the thing is where is it going to line up?
Don't know.
It's
supposed to take place at the same time as like Batman v Superman, or like right after it, or I think like between maybe Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. So.
Okay. Yeah, because the thing is dark Batman. Go like seeing Batman in Batman v Superman. He was knowing how the Batman lore a little bit. I knew where to put this character. Like I knew where he was in relation to like where Batman. Because he's evolved over the years.
Yeah.
So I knew going in, but a lot of people might not have known going in. But I think you're right. Like. A more hopeful Batman, he can still be the guy that has 600 plans for everything.
Yeah,
but it's just how he comes across.
Right.
So,
Julian, what are your thoughts on this?
I'm hopeful.
Did you read like all these kind of breakdowns today? Did you read any?
No. This is the first that I'm hearing of it. It's oh man, like. listening to the Batman v Superman episode of Comic Conspiracy was so aggravating.
Okay, all right, stop.
Yeah, I understand. Trust me, it was aggravating for us too.
I'm going to apologize for putting you through 2 hours and 40 minutes of more Batman v Superman.
No, that was fine. Like the discussion was fine, but it was like I was just like I never wanted to chime in on a podcast so much as that one. So, and I've got a lot of problems with Batman v Superman. I didn't like that movie, but I didn't hate it. I thought that there were some good points in there. I think there's a great movie in there. But
there's two great movies in there.
Well, yeah, because aren't they adding like 30, 40 minutes of footage to the Ultimate Edition?
30 some odd minutes, I think.
It's 30 minutes, but I can't expect it's going to... I mean, if you like the movie... I'm assuming you'll like it probably just the same. If you didn't like it, you'll probably not like it or hate it any worse. It's probably just going to be more of the same. I can't expect it to change too much unless they went back and shot a bunch of crazy new footage for it, which, I mean, is not impossible.
We were already talking. It definitely seemed like there was two movies in there.
Half an hour.
Well, and my thing was
cartoon episode, and a lot you can do about that.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't add 30 minutes of footage. I would remove 40 minutes, but then reshoot some of it. Because really, I would have cut Doomsday completely.
Yeah.
And I would have added more scenes of Lex on the Kryptonian ship, learning what he's supposed to be learning that we don't understand. I mean, unless you're like a big comic book fan and kind of know what he's talking about at the end. I also would have recast Lex because Jesse Eisenberg. I'm sorry, Ryan. He's dreadful. He's dreadful in that role.
What, you didn't like The Social Network?
I saw a clip from The Social Network. I haven't seen the movie, but the clip that I saw was like so much more like Lex to me than
you
whatever.
Don't listen to Brock. He just did a stupid joke. So that's all it was. But virtual high five on that one, though.
But no, I get it. But no, you know what I would have done is have Lex get a suit of the Kryptonian power armor that they showed in Man of Steel, and then have him use like some sort of Kryptonian like paint to turn it green, like the classic Lex power armor, and have him be the big bad at the end.
That'd be cool.
I think that would have made more sense.
That for another movie.
Well, see, I think you saved Doomsday for another movie. Like Doomsday's like a Justice League villain to me.
I think they should have gone with Bizarro. If anything, the villain should have been Bizarro. It shouldn't have been Doomsday, because I mean that was the origin that they were going with, was the modern Bizarro.
So I agree the origin was more Bizarro, but personally, I'm still kind of jazzed at the fact that we got a Death of Superman event in a movie. Yeah. And you can't do that with somebody other than Doomsday. It has to be Doomsday if you're going to kill Superman.
But think about the end of the
I think
credit.
it's too early to kill Superman.
Think about the end
do
of
it
the
in
credit.
Justice League 2.
Yeah, we haven't even established this dude.
Well, I think, and that's the crazy thing here. I think they're starting with the dark and getting to the light, because Death of Superman is such a heavy story. That's 5-6 movies in.
Imagine if we had gotten an end of credit scene where it's just the fists pounding on the wall. That's all you see is
sure.
Like, that would have been... I mean, you would have wet yourself in the theater if you had seen an end of credit scene like that.
Would have been pretty cool.
So
and my thing, it wasn't even my problem with Batman and Superman isn't even the tone. Like, I'm fine with them having a dark tone, but I want the characters to be written like the characters I know. Like, Superman should never say "I don't care." Like that shouldn't be a thing that he says, and that's like a thing that he says.
I don't care. I don't care.
I'm sorry.
I don't even care.
Like that's my thing. It's like, like you said, Ryan, have the deconstruction of the characters.
Yeah.
I think that, I'm a big, like, Batman doesn't kill guy. But if you're going to have a Batman that kills, like, make that a big deal in the story. Like, make it, like, where Alfred is saying, no, this is wrong. Like, what are you doing? Do you realize what you just did? And then if Bruce is so consumed with this mission that he feels the need to do that, well, yeah, let's explore that. But at least address it. Like, not to just have him just matter-of-factly, like, just offing fools and, like, using other people's guns to gun down people and stabbing people with knives. Like, that's not the Batman that I know. And it's fine for him to be a little darker and stuff. And Ben Affleck was incredible, don't get me wrong.
So I agree Batman shouldn't necessarily be gunning down people and killing them, but if they had done a scene where everybody was grabbing their legs because he just shot everybody in the leg, it would have been perfectly fine.
Well, let's move on because actually we're getting dangerously...
BVS talk will probably get us into about 2 hours and 40 minutes again.
And we're getting dangerously close to actually a topic we're going to talk about here.
I actually kind of wondered if we're going to buy the digital and do a viewing party ourselves and do a podcast on it.
Oh, jeez. Oh, yeah.
I would love to be in on that.
It'll be as long as the actual movie.
But are we going to wait till it's actually out on Blu-ray before we all watch it?
Maybe that'll be me and Bryce's commentary. Maybe we'll do a Batman v Superman commentary. So... let's move on to some Marvel talk here because
Bryce has already shut it off.
They've got some movies. They've got some TV shows and movies coming up. ScreenGeek.net, a site that I'm not 100% familiar with, but they seem to be taking the credit on this one, seems to have some information about the Defenders TV show that's finally happening. I made some comment a couple episodes back about are they ever going to do it, and people kind of corrected me saying, yeah, they said it's going to be the next thing. So I guess they're going to start filming pretty soon. Mephisto is going to be rumored to be the bad guy, which is crazy.
Are you okay?
That just sounds really awesome.
Okay. Well, I was like, did he just die?
I still somehow assumed
he has to clean up now.
Yeah. I still somehow assumed Mephisto was going to be the bad guy in the Doctor Strange movie because I don't know who else they would have. I mean, Dormammu.
Because if they brought him into Spider-Man, I think we would all be scared.
Yeah. So if that's a pretty big bad guy for these characters to fight. So I'm not sure how this is going to work.
Well, they're saying that in Iron Fist are going to set up the supernatural stuff.
Right.
That's what that article said, yeah.
And the rumor is the next 3 shows that they're going to launch are Moon Knight, Blade, and Ghost Rider.
Fuck yes!
Which of all 3 of those, man, Ghost Rider, I would love to see a Netflix Ghost Rider show.
They're all a little supernaturally.
Yeah. We know the movie's amazing, right? We did, especially the second movie, Spirits of Vengeance, one of the greatest movies ever made.
I still haven't seen the second one.
You must. It's incredible.
Charlie, if you're out during Christmas time and it's on a Blu-ray $5 deal, just buy it for everybody.
If the $5 deal, it means it comes with 5 copies of the movie. That's why it'd be $5. It's like a 99-cent bargain bin movie, and it is glorious. It is totally worth 99 cents.
If they're doing Mephisto, then Kevin Smith needs to direct at least one episode. Because I loved that Daredevil arc that he did. That's like one of the few Daredevil things I've read with Mephisto, and I thought it was really great.
Yeah, I just think that's a crazy.
Kevin Smith does want to actually. He wants to do Arrow. He wants to do.
Well, he did his episode.
And he
wants
Flash. Daredevil. Yeah, but he's been what's it called? Evangelizing himself for it.
Yeah. So I watched that episode of Flash. I'm pretty down on Kevin Smith these days.
No little Nazi wieners for you?
No.
Yoga Hoser, his new movie. Little Nazi wiener?
God, no. I never watched that. I'm just kind of down on that guy these days. I don't know. I'm just not interested in anything he's doing.
Dude.
I'm not hating. I'm just not interested.
He's promoting DC, man. You should love that guy.
But I watched his episode of Flash that he directed, and I did not get an overly Kevin Smith vibe off of it. And apparently Jason Mewes was in the episode. And it was. I completely.
Yeah.
Who was
he was
in it twice.
Yeah, it was the guy. He was the guy in the Hummer.
He came out of the store and he was like, "What the hell are you doing to my car?"
Yeah.
Oh, was that him?
Yeah.
Wow, I did not catch that at all.
And then
he's had a rough life.
He was in like the end scene with all the villains in costume.
Yeah, he might have been.
Okay, well that's cool. Yeah,
Wait, what costume was he wearing?
I don't know. I just know he was supposedly in that scene and he was super excited to dress up.
He was in the Chronic costume.
Yeah, I did not. It didn't seem overly Kevin Smithy to me.
It doesn't have to be,
fine.
though.
Right.
I mean,
that's
like,
good.
it would have been weird if it became like Barry and Iris in front of a store talking to each other. Like, I don't want to see that, right?
Yeah.
And his Daredevil and his comic books, Green Arrow, were fantastic.
Yeah.
So he can do superheroes. He just needs confidence. He won't have it with assholes like you going, "Fuck Kevin Smith."
Yep. So, hopefully he does some more stuff. And yeah, Marvel news. I don't know. Not a lot in Marvel TV wise. I mean, Carter's not picked up, but that
we're getting
Punisher, Defenders.
Well, so what, Mystery Knight in a cage.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah, and then the other lady in Iron Fist. So we're getting some of the ladies into the Marvel's TV universe or Netflix universe.
So where is Defender supposed to hit? Because I know it was supposed to have already been out at this point.
I think it's after Iron Fist. They're still doing all the shows. It's just some of them were getting second seasons before Defenders is going to happen.
So is it Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Defenders now at this point? Those are
I
three
think
shows.
so.
Punisher, maybe
are we even going to get Daredevil 3?
I'm sure we will.
Nothing official though, right?
No.
Yeah, but I mean, they can keep going after Defenders. It's not like Defenders it's over.
But I don't think they're likely to have two shows out at once. Or, I mean, even if there's 4 shows a year, and you're talking now 8 shows,
you're going to have long time.
How does that happen? How does that work? So,
especially with their every 6 months they wanted to have one of these to release.
We're getting a lot of these. I mean, if you think about it, it's with the production to put in, we're getting 12, 13 episodes a season every 6 months, versus how many movies do we get each year?
Right.
It's quite a bit of material we're getting from the Netflix stuff.
If they're making the money on it, they could, in theory, do
double,
do 4 or just 6 shows a year, right? Yeah, they could just have them go nonstop through the year. If they do 4 a year, if they're
life
6,
will
they
be
could
good.
Even double.
I will never fucking do anything worthwhile of myself.
Every other month is a new show.
I think that this would be a great time for Julian to tell us what he wants us, what questions he wants to ask us.
So talking about doing nothing but watching TV shows and movies based on comic books, I got Outcast to start. I still got to work my way through the last couple of Preacher episodes, but I'm not feeling that show at all. Julian, you brought up an interesting topic for us to cover here in the back half of this podcast. What's your feeling?
So I was watching Daredevil Season 2, and I loved Daredevil Season 2. I thought it was great. But at some point towards the middle of the season, I started to think, I think I've reached my breaking point. Breaking point that's a little strong.
My
saturation point.
You got to the Elektra stuff, and then you're like, maybe I'm done.
No, if you said this about any other show, I would believe you, but not with Daredevil.
No, well, let me explain. So, like, after they introduce Elektra, it's like every episode of Daredevil ends with, like, this massive, really excellent, like, really well directed, mind you, melee. Like, he's just, like, it's just these balls out action scenes to the point where it's like, I can no longer really buy the whole, I'm gonna get up the next day and go into the office and, I'm looking worse and worse every day, but nobody suspects anything. And I don't know, and then it just made me realize, like, there's so much stuff out right now. I'm trying to keep up on Arrow and Flash and Legends of Tomorrow, and the movies are coming out, and I just feel like I'm getting a little bit worn out. And it's not that I'm not into this stuff. I mean, Civil War came out and ended up being possibly my favorite of the Marvel Universe movies so far. I haven't actually ranked any of the Phase 3 stuff in my rankings yet. But I just feel like there's so much out there right now, and there's more coming out, and I'm just getting a little worn out. And I think part of it, too, was this last season was watching Supergirl and realizing, all right, Berlanti just has this, like, template that he's just, like, putting DC characters into at this point, isn't he? You know, you've got your hero, and then you've got your IT tech person who, you know, sets up the computer lab and then has like the little place where they do all of the background checks on the crimes. And then somehow everybody knows who the superhero is, even though it's supposed to be a secret, but nobody cares.
So still, Daredevil? That's the one you're going to be thinking of? Like, you don't any Supergirl, I'll believe you. Gotham, I'll believe you. Hell, even Arrow and Legends, I'll believe you. But Daredevil?
It's not, and again, it's not that I didn't like Daredevil. I thought Daredevil was great. It was
I'm just picking any, man. I just actually recently rewatched Daredevil, man. I just love that show.
I understand. I watch a lot of, more TV than I ever have in my life. Like, it's so crazy right now.
So how permanent is the mark in your couch?
It's just I just fall into it.
It's actually really funny. I'm just about to finish wrapping up all my TV because the NBA is done. I'm about to finish Personal Interest with Charlie on Thursday. Game of Thrones is ending. I'm like, wait a minute, after this week, Orphan Black is done. I'm like, after this week, I'm done with TV. Like, I'm free.
Yeah, until all the new seasons start.
Yeah, but I'm free till then. Yeah. I got a little bit of a break.
I have some time. I beat Uncharted 4, so now I'm sort of compiling that list of what games after that and the game after that, because I only have like 2 months before.
Yeah, it's really bad. There's just a crap load of stuff to do, you know, and for someone like myself, I feel a little more obligated to watch these. But for everyone else, it's like, if you're not feeling it, right? I mean, there's a lot of shows that I've watched through the years. If I start something, I kind of like to see it through. If the writing's on the wall, like, and I think it takes a terrible turn, like Community. I didn't bother watching that last season when it was on Yahoo. Mm-hmm. I just had no interest at that point. I watched the first season of The Strain, and that's whole entire second season sitting on my TiVo, and I'm like, it just keeps getting further. It's just the bottom thing, and it's just continuously the bottom thing in my show. If the next season starts up and I haven't watched the second season, maybe that's a good sign to kill it. All right, Sci-Fi has a ton of these shows that are like cool in concept, but you're like, they're only going to go a season or two and kind of die off. I'm definitely trying to find shows to cut, but if you like them, you like them, but you got to find time. Right? Right now it's been, even though I still play some video games, I kind of go in cycles where video games a lot, then I'm reading comics a lot, then I'm watching TV and movie a lot. So, or TV and movies a lot. So I'm kind of always going back and forth. And right now I am in my TV. I have, easily.
You just see, what you need to do is take a picture of your storage thing on your TiVo and just tweet it.
Easily 60 to 70 hours of unwatched television at this point. If not more. No. If not more. It's really bad.
I'm kind of in the same boat with shows that I haven't finished.
Well, I mean, that's on my TiVo.
Yeah.
I'm on Stargate SG-1 Season 7. I have 3, 8, 11 more seasons of Stargate to watch, right? I have.
That's your summer. That's the summer watching.
I've been watching Stargate for like 6 years now. I'm like watching like a season a year, basically.
Yeah.
I've been doing my Star Trek rewatching, and I did TOS and TNG and DS9, and now I'm on Voyager. What the hell was that? It's a little kid outside.
Small child.
Voyager and Enterprise, and maybe just in time for the new Star Trek show to start next year, right? Just a brutal amount of TV that I want to watch, and all sorts of other shows that I haven't started.
Yes, it's weird when shows I like Person of Interest, and then they announce like the final season of Orphan Black, and I'm kind of celebrating. They're like
I can mark this off my list,
basically.
Yeah, I have. I can completely relate to kind of the oversaturation. Thing. Like Gotham, I just didn't have time, and it wasn't catching my interest, so it kind of just fell off. Fear the Walking Dead.
That show is.
I didn't even.
What? I really like that one.
I didn't even.
God,
like
it's so
season
bad.
2, I didn't even start it. I think
I have 2 episodes left in season 2, and that is a slog to get through. That and Preacher might be my first 2 cuts.
But the thing is like you said, there's a lot of Julian, I think you're right. There's a lot of material out there right now, especially comic book related, and it's to the point where you can get oversaturated with just how much comic related content is out there.
Oh, it's not to mention so much.
Not to mention stuff. I mean, Toby, you watch so many other shows that are not. I'm
gonna touch up on that when it's my turn.
So it's
Yeah, you watch terrible normal people shows,
dude. I will touch upon that when it's my turn.
When you factor in, the normal shows, the comic book shows, those stupid shows that your kids watch about cats from hell.
Oh God, I'm like 40. I have 47 episodes of Teen Titans Go on my TiVo. That's only like 3 months worth. Okay,
you also have to factor in the comedy shows you watch, like The Daily Show, or if you watch late night.
I have 40 of those on my TiVo. So, I have all of season 2 of Rebels. I still need to watch. Oh God,
that was good.
Yeah,
I like season 2 of Rebels.
It's
all of Guardians of the Galaxy. I have all that to watch. Which, I mean, if it sucks, I'll delete it after like 2 episodes.
I haven't watched any of Guardians.
So it's one of those things where I think like Charlie, you're right. When a show, you hear about a show ending that you like, you're like kind of sad, but part of you is like, thank fucking God. Like, just with the amount that we're getting.
And now let's talk about anime. How much anime do I have to watch? Charlie, I've seen like 80 episodes of Naruto. What's the current count on that show? 700 and something? Yeah.
I think it's I think it's 490
I'm mostly joking. But
no, I was realizing that I'm on like episode 605 of One Piece and 494 of Naruto.
What you do with Naruto is that you just skip all of the filler seasons and then just move on.
Well, the sad thing about Naruto is I not recently, but a couple months ago, started watching Shippuden because I lost track in the regular show. But it's like 5 minutes of content if each episode that's 20 minutes long. So I'm almost
that sounds like an anime.
That's anime. Yeah.
No, like someone. Well, I wish someone would like cut out all the bullshit. And I'm like, I would totally do it, but I would just keep these powers and stopping time.
Didn't they do that with Dragon Ball? Isn't there a Dragon Ball?
Yeah,
Kai.
they did the Kai.
Yeah, I wish there was a Naruto Kai. I would totally watch that because there's so much big bull crap in there.
Well, Toby, I got to ask, and I'm actually an episode behind, so forgive me, but have you been watching the new Voltron on Netflix?
Dude, I love it. I have to say, so here's a little bit background. The guys who's doing it worked on Avatar: The Last Airbender, Korra, and the new Thundercats, which is all shows I really, really love.
Yeah.
And I have to say, if I had to rank them, Avatar, Korra is still number 1. Thundercats, out of these 3 would be number 2, and this would be number 3, actually. I don't think it beats the other 2 over. But it is a style I really like. It's in a writing style I really like. And I thought they did a fairly decent job with the show. There's some twists from the original show. But I don't mind them. In fact, the old show is it's been so long, I don't necessarily remember it anymore. And I actually had to go look some things up. But it ends a little
Well, it ends on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, and I kind of like, without having them announce the second season yet, I was like, why'd you have to do it? Like,
I have all of Voltron to watch.
Yeah. No, I really did enjoy Voltron. They're fast. I mean, they're like 20 minutes episode. You go through them so fast. You have them done in like 3 days. Yeah. If you don't sleep like Toby does.
Orange is the New Black just started back up again.
Yeah.
So what's your normal show?
They started recording Longmire, season 4. Or season 5.
Normal.
You should watch the new Danger Mouse.
What?
Yeah, they have a new Danger Mouse on Netflix too.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Netflix knows what you like.
Toby, let's hear, because you watch more TV than I think anyone I know.
Charlie comes pretty close. We just like
Charlie
watch different things.
has the ability to be on a computer.
Yeah.
Watch TV.
I can't do that.
Deal with
when
his
I watch
kids.
TV, I'm watching TV.
Work. Play a video game
at the same time.
Read a comic book.
Yeah, and watch the store.
All at the same time.
Yeah, and work at the store.
And he's doing that all while working at the store as well.
Yeah.
So, like, I'll look in here and I'm like, what is happening? Like, what are you doing? I watched...
And Charlie turns to you and goes, I got it covered. Don't worry about it.
I watched 35 seconds of a TV show and I'm, like, passed out. Like, that's my normal night these days. So
that's you've conditioned yourself. You need to stop watching TV right before you go to bed.
It's the only time I have. So...
Well,
Toby, you watch a lot of TV.
I love TV and I love movies. So this is one of my things. But yes, a lot. I have them all sectioned off. I have them like what I call the mature shows, which is Game of Thrones, Walking Dead. Breaking Bad would be that category, The Wire, and those I watch no matter what. And then I got my favorites, which is Orphan Black, Person of Interest. That's kind of like, those two are like my main watchers that I never stop. And then I go with my superhero category. And this is where things as in drop-in happens, because I will watch them in order of how I like them. And then that's when I noticed, like, a lot of people, you guys have TiVo, I just watch them on Hulu, and I start recognizing I'm falling behind on certain ones. Like, I fell behind on Legends and I just didn't care for it anymore. But I cared for it enough that, when other shows went off air, that's when I catch up and I finished Legends, Arrow and Flash started becoming into that category where, like, like... The 100 was like the first thing I would watch when it's on, not Arrow, not Flash, not Legends, and stuff like that. But... usually what I do is when shows end, like there's only so much I can watch, obviously, but what I do is when shows end, then I will catch up on a lot of them. But then there's also ones like Gotham and S.H.I.E.L.D. where I just lost interest. And like I didn't want to lose it, but I just did. Like Gotham, I had promise of since the beginning. S.H.I.E.L.D. also since the beginning, but I felt like it got good for a little bit. And then I just... lost interest. I mean, there's time, right?
17 episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to watch.
Yeah, I mean, you
can probably just skip that.
Yeah, there's only so much time in the day. I mean, I usually do a couple episodes a night, or 2 or 3.
One day, I will retire. I will get on my couch.
Well,
I will hit play.
See, the problem is...
and just never stop.
The problem with you, Ryan, is you actually sleep. You actually sleep. I tend to not sleep.
Yeah.
But yeah, like as the guy said, I watch normal shows too. I love Empire. I love the Chicago series, which for you guys that like universe-sharing shows, Chicago is the normal TV show of the universe-sharing show. Like they have Chicago Med, Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, and coming up is Chicago Justice. Mm-hmm. And it's
have a crossover.
Oh, they always have crossover. They're so good.
My mom actually watched.
I love
Chicago
these shows.
Fire.
Like when Fire they need a doctor, it's the fucking doctor from Med that comes over and says, "Oh, it's fucking like if you like universe things, like universe building brands." I'm like, I really, really love the Chicago series. And me and Milton watch it. One of the regulars at the store, and he goes like, I think a law show is coming. And I was like, yeah, totally. They're laying the seats, and boom, they announce it for next year. It's the Chicago. We thought it was going to be called Chicago Law, but it's going to be Chicago Justice. But for those guys that want to check out something normal, so if you burn out on superheroes, but you kind of like the world building kind of thing, I really recommend Chicago. Like whatever it is.
I never even heard of this.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
I'm sure it gets like 85 million.
No, I mean, I'll be honest. Like, so Chicago Fire, I watch because of the characters. I really do like the characters. Plots, sometimes I'm like, they save people from burning houses, right? I mean, but I like the character building and that stuff.
I would hope so.
Yeah, no, but the characters are really good in that one. The writing of the characters, right? Chicago PD's got some, like, not always, but some of the plot stuff is really good. Some of the plots and then Med is also character building, and they got this Oliver Platt plays the psychiatrist. He's really making the show for me. It's probably the weakest out of the 3. But yeah, no, I mean, there is a point where it's too much, but for me, it's too much in one category. Like. I balance everything a little bit out, and just kind of how. But I tend to catch up in the end. But yeah,
I don't know. There's plenty of shows that fell into the category of I'll catch up on them at the end of the season. Then it becomes I'll eventually catch up on those last 3 seasons.
Luckily,
then it becomes I'll eventually catch up on.
Well, luckily on Hulu, if you don't do it within time, they just disappear. So that's usually a cutoff for me too.
But Charlie's bought the Blu-ray for $9.99 from Best Buy on a Black Friday, so he'll watch it eventually.
So one for me that a new one this year was the Shannara Chronicles. Because I read the Terry Brooks novels. And I watched a few episodes, and I had them all recorded, and then we moved, and it all got deleted off of my...
Well, it's out on DVD now.
They didn't even do Blu-ray?
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't do Blu-ray.
What are they?
It's stupid.
It's actually getting rarer now that they release. I mean, it's a more common thing now.
I think they're pushing more and more towards the digital.
Yeah, they would like do a DVD for the Walmarts and the Targets, and then they would do the high def for the digital.
So I lost all of my recordings because we moved. And unplugging the box apparently just, oh, nope, you don't want any of this stuff. So I'll have to either pick up the DVD of it and watch it. But, yeah, it sucks because I wanted to watch that. But
yeah.
So, Julian, what's your plan? You can start watching some more shows? Or?
Well, it's because I wanted to ask, because the sense that I get from just listening to the show every week is that I sense like a little bit of ennui from you guys when the new movies come out and stuff like that. Like I was kind of surprised that there was a little bit of a tepid response to Civil War. You know, Ryan, when you first saw Batman v Superman, you were down on it, and then you kind of came back around on it. And I'm just wondering if, like,
himself to get around on it. It was not he did. He convinced himself in the store. No, I like this movie.
I forgot that my check from DC came, so I had to cash that.
I think Leanne has video of him in the bathroom in the mirror going, "You actually liked Batman v Superman. You actually liked Batman v Superman."
No, I mean, the guys can speak for themselves, but fuck, I was really excited for Batman Superman. I was really excited for Civil War. I was probably more excited for Civil War once I came out of the movie. I can't wait for Suicide Squad. I wanted to watch Ninja Turtles, but nobody would watch it with me.
Well, I think with DC, there is a potential for freshness because this is new. It might be the same.
Well, yeah, because their Rotten Tomato scores suck.
Who cares about Rotten Tomatoes?
I'm not talking
If you
about
listen to Rotten Tomato, you will miss out on gems like Spaced Invaders. Batteries Not Included. I mean, these are classic movies.
They give Batteries
That
Not
Warcraft
Included
movie was
a bad
pretty
score.
good. I gotta say.
Yeah, I told my sister I'm buying Space Invaders on Blu-ray, and she looked it up like, it's only got 22%. I'm like, fuck off.
No, so and Warcraft was all right, but I think with the Marvel movies and especially like X-Men, X-Men Apocalypse should have been like.
I am a little worn out on the Fox X-Men movies.
Well, I think
I haven't watched the Apocalypse yet.
There's 13 Marvel movies, 9 X-Men movies, 7 X-Men movies.
7.
Is that right?
Well, are we counting Origin? Are we counting the Wolverine ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I mean, they're all Wolverine ones. There's like 6 Wolverine movies. 5 Spider-Man movies. 3 Fantastic Four movies. That's a lot of movies, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited for Spider-Man. I'm dying. Oh, crap. I lost my train of thought.
Well, what I'm saying is, with DC, there's the potential for something to feel a little bit more fresh.
Because we haven't seen it yet.
Because we haven't seen it yet. Yeah. Even though it can be fairly similar.
I mean, I'll be honest. That's what I was going to say. I wasn't as excited for Ant-Man as everybody else was. And I'm probably not as excited for Doctor Strange, even though I should be, as everybody else is.
Well, with Civil War, I think, again, the movies that have felt different are the movies that catch me off guard. And I'm like, wow, I like this. A movie like Civil War, it was exactly what I expected it to be. The thing is, when everything's a home run's not impressive anymore.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why Guardians was so big, because I think it took everybody by surprise.
And Ant-Man, a lot of people were expecting nothing, and it was really fun, right? And obviously Winter Soldier is one that I always go back to and say, that really caught me off guard with how good Winter Soldier was. So when Civil War is not as good as Winter Soldier, at least to me, that's like, well, all right. Well, congratulations. You made another great movie, Marvel. 13 out of 13 ain't bad,
But Winter Soldier didn't have Scarlet Witch in it, man.
Yeah, that's true. But like I said, I think, kind of that. What have you done for me lately, right? What's the next thing to impress? And it's
you're becoming the fat comic book nerd that owns a store that's angry at everything.
No, but this is, when Avengers came out, when the 89 Batman movie came out, when Iron Man came out, when Superman came out, these are all like seminal moments in film history, not just comic book film history, film history. The 13th movie in that series, you need like a James Bond style rest.
Yeah.
And then the character can come back. And Marvel, I think would actually, they're obviously making money, right? So they're not going to stop. But if there is this sort of, and DC the same way, if DC's 6 movies in and it's not clicking, then kill it, right? Yeah. And let it rest for a couple of years. Because I'm excited for Spider-Man, but we just had a Spider-Man, and now there's another Spider-Man. And I think if they rested Spider-Man for a decade and brought it back,
fine.
Yeah, but they're not going to.
Well, this is the thing.
It's Star Wars.
Oh, come on. If they do a new Warriors movie next year, you'd be like, fuck yeah.
I'm very excited for all the Star Wars we're going to get. But 13 years later, when we're 13 Star Wars movies in, is everyone going to be like,
Star Wars?
All right,
but the thing is with Star Wars,
more of this.
With Star Wars, at least you're getting kind of what you're talking about. Every 2 years we get
every year.
No, every 2 years we get a Star Wars movie. Every other year,
something
in between, it's the anthology movie.
Hopefully different.
No, both.
Hopefully different.
Both are going to work on people. I mean, eventually I'm calling the return of the normal movies will bring people back into movie theaters.
It's very possible.
It is going to happen.
Yeah.
But I think you said it perfectly in that nothing surprises us anymore.
Yeah.
Like, we go to, like, what are we watching this year? I can go online and somebody has a picture of every single movie that's coming out this year.
Yeah. It doesn't mean I'm not excited for these things, but they have to really wow you these days.
Well, I am more excited for Suicide Squad than I was for Batman v Superman.
It feels different.
Because, one, it feels different. It's two characters that I have not seen on the big screen, and I want to see these characters on the big screen. Batman and Superman, I've seen it.
Yeah.
Right? It's nothing new.
Doctor Strange has the potential to
never
feel
seen
different.
them together.
I'm excited for Doctor Strange because I think that has the potential to be different.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be good. I'm just not as excited. And that's same in comics. If I get to pick Nightwing, Birds of Prey, Doctor Strange, I'm sorry, those are the other two.
Yeah.
But, you know what I'm saying. It's not one of my favorite characters. Now, the cartoon of Doctor Strange, a direct TV movie, a while called I think that was one of the best
halfway
ones.
Decent thing.
Yeah, well, there's two good ones, I think, and Doctor Strange is one of the really good ones, and I was really surprised at that.
I've actually seen that one.
So yeah, I don't know, Julian.
I was going to ask actually, Ryan, because I hadn't heard about all of the upcoming like Defenders related shows. Do you think that they would try? Like, there's a possibility of them doing like a Doctor Strange cameo in any of those, or do you think that the split between, or the rift rather, between like the Marvel movies and the Marvel television is too great? Because I feel that Doctor Strange fits really, like, he's more at home to me with Daredevil and Ghost Rider and Moon Knight. Because I just feel like he's more of like that street level. I mean, with the mystical stuff, of course, but I see him kind of rolling with them a little more often than Iron Man or Thor. Well, maybe. I mean, Thor probably.
Like, I don't
Iron
think
Man
it's going to
Captain America.
I don't think it's happening anymore. But originally, there was a big, huge rumor that Benedict was going to start as Doctor Strange in Iron Fist. But I highly doubt. Right? Yeah, or a cameo. Yeah, but I highly doubt that's going to happen now.
The Netflix stuff is the Marvel Knight stuff.
Right.
I mean, it's the darker, grittier tone.
And I think that's the perfect place for it because you can't do these Marvel Knights movies and expect blockbuster money from it. So I think it's actually a really good way to.
It'd be smarter than to do it, but it sounds like the split between Marvel TV and Marvel movies is pretty severe now. But who knows? We'll know when it comes out in when's Iron Fist, like next year.
Whenever it comes out, like here it is. It's all here for you to watch.
Is Iron Fist taking Daredevil's release date, like April or something?
Maybe.
So August or February or whenever. When did Daredevil come out? February, March, something like
April.
that. Was it April? Early April?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know what they're going to do.
I don't mind, though, like, you know, if Marvel TV is doing all family stuff with S.H.I.E.L.D. and whatever else they want to do, and then, you know, Marvel Knights on Netflix, and then all the big guns on movies.
Right.
It works for me.
Yeah.
And to me, honest, if they just acknowledge they exist with each other, that's good enough for me. They don't actually have to do crossovers.
I like the little connections that Daredevil has with, like, the articles.
Yeah.
About the attack.
Well, the
on
first
New York.
episodes they name drop quite a bit, with
the
the incident in New York and all that stuff that happened and the housing market, what it did to that. I'm like, but it's not directly crossing over, but so that's fine.
If you know what they're saying, it's cool.
Yeah, and if you don't, it's cool too. So that works for me. They don't actually have to cross over.
Yeah. All right, let's hit some questions up. We can wrap this up.
Questions. Oh, and don't we have to do random picks too?
Julian, sure, maybe we can.
I've got a random pick.
I thought we hit the mark. We have to do it.
Feel free to jump in here if you got any of these answers. Although this one goes directly to Charlie first because I know we read it. This is from Hey Mitch.
Don't be fucking stealing my line.
Dark Knight, a true Batman story, looks really interesting. Did you read it? And if so, could you give a short review? That was the Paul Dini, Edward Rizzo, Vertigo Batman kind of comic that came out last week.
It's an autobiography that Paul Dini did about basically the time he was mugged and badly beaten. And it was a very, very good read. It's one of those things where you get more than just sort of the scenario of I got badly beaten and this is how I recovered. He does a very good job of sort of prefacing where he was in his life, where he wasn't exactly living the healthiest life at the time, and sort of the way that he dealt with that experience, and the way that he dealt with a lot of experiences was through his imagination, and the way it kind of plays out, the way that various characters sort of pop up through the story and kind of torment him a little bit as he's sort of wallowing in a certain amount of self-depression and self-destructive behavior and all that. And like, to a degree, this was already happening before the beating and stuff. That just was sort of the straw that snapped it, and it was a very, very good read. I am not an autobiography guy. I don't tend to go out of my way to read a lot of those, but even in like books and stuff, when it's somebody that I have a tremendous amount of respect for, if they take the time to share a personal story, I always get something out of it. And it's the same with this book. It's beautifully drawn. You'll get a lot of insight into Paul Dini. Mm-hmm. And it, even though there are certain extremes in there, it comes out as very, very relatable in a lot of ways. And I think it's definitely worth a read. If you don't like, overall, this is a very serious story. Paul Dini is kind of known for doing these grand, awesome, epic Batman stories or these lighter comedy stories. This is neither of those. This is him sharing something very personal.
It's very honest
and personal, and that resonates with me. So
yeah, I picked it up. Was it last week it came out? Yeah, I picked it up. Yeah. I need to get on it. So hey, Mitch, I'll get on it.
We go in here from Jonathan. Says favorite comic series that takes place in the Bay Area. You got any favorite comic series that take place around here?
House of Penance, is that the only one we're talking about?
Of course. What's the big one? This, of course, is a big one. Teen Titans, baby.
What?
Teen Titans takes place in San Francisco.
Yep.
Yeah. The big T is in the Bay. Yep. Love me some Teen Titans.
I kind of feel like that's the only one I can kind of get behind.
The X-Men were in San Francisco for half a minute.
Oh, this is true.
Yeah. Venom was in San Francisco.
What's that?
Venom.
When?
Like in the 90s.
Was it really?
Yeah, he had a miniseries and he went to San Francisco.
Nice. Yeah, there's definitely comics that take place here. Just I feel like not very often. Well, Daredevil was in San Francisco.
Well, yeah. The characters all get priced out, so they.
Yeah. Peter Parker can't afford a place around here. No, not salary.
That's why more and more comic books are now in Portland, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. This is from Killing 'Em Softly on Twitter.
Killing 'Em Softly with his song.
Nice try. He says, hey guys, question for the podcast. Which comic book event would you like to see adapted into a live-action film or animated movie? Let's start with Julian.
I need a second.
Okay.
Let's
start with Charlie.
No,
Charlie
don't let him off the hook. He has to do it now.
Charlie knows all the events. I want to see Identity Crisis.
I want to see Crisis on Infinite Earths.
That'll be their second R-rated animated movie. Crisis on Infinite Earths would be awesome, but would have to be like a 12 episode. It would have to be long. You couldn't be you can't do Crisis in a 2-hour movie.
No, but I mean, Crisis would be kind of neat within the television universe.
Sure,
just because you built up and you started to build up this multiverse, they could totally mess with that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a lot of good X-Men events, but they always seem to be so loosely based on the source material.
With Cable. Do it.
The problem is, if you were going to do something really good with Cable, I would have done one of the Apocalypse storylines, like Apocalypse the 12. I would have been totally down for working with Cable.
What about just an animated Age of Apocalypse?
I'd be totally down
Toby.
for that. But again, it's one of those that I would love a miniseries more than a individual movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. Actually, I wouldn't mind like the Heroes Reborn stuff.
I've got mine.
Neat.
Oh, he's got it.
Let's hear it.
Armor Wars.
Good man.
I would love to see. I thought they were almost going to go there because I thought the end of Iron Man 3 sets it up perfectly, because when he self-destructs all of the armor, there's just bits and pieces of it all over the place, right? So people get their hands on it, reverse engineer it. There you go. Now he has to go and start taking down copycat armors. And then, the only problem with that is that they've already done so many superheroes punching each other in the movies that I don't really necessarily need to see, Tony come to blows with like Captain America again and stuff like that.
The beauty about Armor Wars was also like some of these other characters I didn't necessarily know they had Stark technology in them. So when he was going after all these guys, I'm like, I didn't know that. They're all connected. So that was kind of a nice touch to it.
Yeah.
Brock, did you say one?
I said Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Oh, yeah. It'd be difficult to sell them. All right, let's move on.
No, my turn.
Yeah.
He always forgets me. It's easy, and I think I'll get it. Is the Rekka Punisher, but as
it's really an event book, though.
Nah, but I like that storyline. But as an event book, and I'm totally gonna nerd out, and you're gonna be jealous of my pick. Is the New Warriors Spider-Man crossover where Punisher and Moon Knight were all part of it.
That's a good one.
Oh, I don't even know what it's called, but I loved it.
It's not really
that round robin.
Was it?
Yeah, the Sidekick's Revenge is the one with with Spider-Man and
Punisher and Moon Knight were part of that too. It's like I loved it. It's like all my favorite characters in one run.
Yeah, I got that. It's in my
Get
mind.
that sweet Darkhawk action in there.
Yeah.
Not Maximum Carnage.
I'll go a smaller one. I wouldn't mind seeing House of M as a live action.
Live action?
Yeah, like live action movie. Like
you end up. The problem is you end up
you're stripping it of all the characters.
You can't. The current setup, you can't have half those characters interact. That's the problem.
That's why I want it.
So it's either all the Avengers, and they're like,
you asked me what I wanted.
They're like, no more. How about this? If they say no more Inhumans,
no more studio bullshit.
If they say no more Inhumans, then I'm totally behind it. But if it's the X-Men and they say no more mutants, then oops, we're the only ones here.
Well, apparently they've said
I want them to say no more Inhumans, and then just see what that does to S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah. Bloop. Let's see. We got I got a bunch here. Let's see. We got one here for Tyler. It says, as a consumer and a retailer, how do you feel about Darth Vader ending in issue 25 and ideas for replacements? It's a weird choice. That's such a good seller.
Well, it's Gillian's run is ending at 25, so he's done telling his Darth Vader story.
Did they relaunch with a new number one?
They're going to relaunch with a new number one.
Which is totally fine if, wait till someone has a really good pitch before you actually do it.
Yeah, it'll probably be the next month.
Yeah. Well, this is the problem, I think, I think a lot of people have really enjoyed Vader. It's been an amazing book. And you get 25 issues in, and you're pretty much like, yeah, let's keep going with this. What are you going to give me next? And they're kind of like, oh, yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you're letting, the readers down, in a sense. And so, and we know how Marvel operates. They're just going to slap a new number one on it, like 2 months later.
They can jump time periods with it.
Yeah. But without knowing where they're going with it. If they're jumping time periods, that's fine, but I don't really necessarily think... Because in Star Wars, they're jumping time periods right now, and it's not needing a renumber.
No, but I guess my mentality on it is if you're going to give it a clean ending with sort of that current story arc and then jump time periods once you have exactly where you want to take it going, I think that's a good way to do it because it does give you sort of this is where this takes place. I mean, one of the challenges with the comic books and that kind of stuff is there's a finite time period between movies that you don't necessarily want to cram too much into one time period.
But Dark Horse had a whole bunch of just Darth Vader miniseries or Darth Vader small books, and sales on those weren't the best.
None of the sales were
but this is
very good on Star Wars for a long time.
For me, it's one of those things where I think you have something strong, keep going with it. There's no need to do this.
But now they can put out a nice single omnibus that has all of Series 1.
They can go Darth Vader Gillian, done. I mean, they do it already, so...
And they'll sell 1 billion more issue 1s with variant covers.
Yeah. 25 with the crossover makes a nice omnibus, right?
Yep. Yeah.
All right, we got 3 more quick questions here. Wow, 2 of them aren't very quick, but we got 3 questions here. Let's wrap up this podcast. We got one from It's Just Me on Twitter.
It's just me.
It's just me.
It's you, or is it just me?
It's just me.
Okay.
He says, "Can I start reading DC Rebirth? Are the worlds starting over?" Yes, you could just start reading DC Rebirth. No, the world's not starting over. It is continuing from New 52. However, they are seemingly pretty quickly changing things to be a little more traditional. So while various elements are kind of coming over, they are written in such a way that you really don't have to know what happened prior as long as you have a base understanding of the character.
Yeah.
If you can find them, check out the Rebirth one-shots. Yep. Some are a little more heavy with continuity. Some are a little more heavy with tone. But they are all good primers.
They're good starting points for people who are maybe new readers. They're great starting points for people who are lapsed readers. they're just overall solid books to see if it's something that you want to get into.
And then the actual number ones of the ongoings, the Rebirth are all one shots. And again, we're 2 weeks. We're talking about every Rebirth book. So we have. Otherwise, we'll talk about it for an hour every podcast. We have to limit it to just one episode a month. And we're going to do that for the Marvel.
A 4-hour episode.
But we're going to have our full Rebirth covered in just a couple weeks here. But you absolutely can read if you can find the number ones. Definitely pick them up. The ongoings dump you straight into a big story, and they're all of them have amazing first issue cliffhangers. So,
Julian, do you have any standouts from Rebirth that you've read?
No, actually, and you guys are going to crucify me for this, but most of the Rebirth stuff has not interested me, other than Teen Titans, which
you hanging up on
to
him
the
right
other
now?
episode.
I was talking to Ryan. Sorry.
If you listen to the other episode I was on, I mean, it's obvious that Teen Titans would be the one that is interesting me, but it's not till October. So I am interested in Batman simply because the way that Snyder kind of brought him back from the darkness, so to speak, is interesting to me. Like having a Batman that has the potential to smile and maybe not be so standoffish. And because for years, as long as I can remember, Batman's been, I don't need anybody. Stay away from me, Nightwing. And then of course he needs Nightwing and Batgirl and all this stuff. And it's every big arc. It's like, I don't need you. Oh wait, no, I do need you. But I'm not gonna thank you for it because I'm a dick. So it's nice to hear that Batman's going to be a little bit lighter. But I don't know. I had to cut a whole bunch of comics recently, and it seemed like a good time to jump off of Batman for me. So we'll see. I think I'll probably wait for your big recap episode.
You made the wrong decision. You need to be digging up those back issues pretty soon. Hopefully, I'd actually love to see DC do some introductory $9.99 trades for all the Rebirth titles when they come out.
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
That'd be real nice.
Smart.
They've always been relatively reasonably priced, but that would be a great way to get some new readers.
Just like a collection, like they used to do with the Vertigo stuff.
Yeah, I mean the way Image does.
Well, they even did it with a bunch of the DC stuff, like when John's Teen Titans.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, they've totally been known to do this, and now's the time.
All right, 2 big questions from our good friend Stefano. Let's see what I can do with these in a couple of minutes. He says, what do you think is going to be the number one hurdle for comics to jump in the entire comic market, that is, to jump the next 5 years to continue its expansion? The hurdle's the same as the hurdle always is. Put out some good comic books, right? DC, for the past month, has managed to turn this shit around so fast. Marvel, their numbers are definitely up because of Civil War. But with the Star Wars stuff now being a couple years out, kind of starting to drop a little bit. They're all new, all different. Was not as successful as their previous relaunch, which is not as successful as their previous relaunch.
We're getting Marvel now real soon.
Right, and they're already relaunching again. They need some course correction.
It's going to be Marvel now, double now. Wait, no, never mind.
Like, Marvel needs to... I mean, our sales are actually up because of Civil War. We've got a decent amount of people that are picking up all the copies. But we're talking, Aquaman I was selling 10 copies of. I sold 100 copies of the last issue of Aquaman. Nova I sell 4 copies of. I sold 14 copies of Nova with the crossover. There's a big difference in the demand. People are into Civil War, but it's a fraction of the people that are into Rebirth. So Marvel needs their own Rebirth with their titles. They need to get their shit back to normal.
War, besides... Captain Marvel and Tony, everybody is in there is in different roles.
What do you mean?
Like Cap, it's not the classic characters.
No, right.
So I have not a whole lot of interest in this book.
Well, it's not
even though probably should.
It's not just the book; it's the entire Marvel universe.
Yeah,
right now.
It doesn't help. I open a book and one of my favorite characters is on the chopping blocks in first 5 pages.
Most Marvel characters are not, and the teams especially are not.
They're not classic.
They're not the classic takes.
They don't represent. They don't represent there's not really any core to the books anymore.
No.
Well, see now, don't understand me wrong though. Like I wouldn't mind new characters.
Yeah.
I just don't like this whole ran out of years. Let's just switch some of the characters around.
Right. That's the problem Marvel's had the last couple of years. And DC did it and quickly pulled back from it. Marvel has stuck to their guns, and I mean it works for some people, but Tumblr only buys so many comic books, so we need their.
Wait, Tumblr actually buys comics?
Well, they read them on scans daily. We need some change to the Marvel universe very fast here. So, then he says, of course, Stefano. He always asks great questions. He says, if you could change one thing about Comics Conspiracy, the retail store, what would it be? And what would you never change?
Well, we get rid of this guy named Ryan Higgins because he's general. No, kidding.
Well, I was going to say what I would never change would be the employees. They're all such great friends of mine, but now. No, absolutely. I would not change the employees. You're all assholes, but you're my assholes, so I gotta keep you guys around.
I would want a bigger back room. Maybe get some PIM particles. Not go too crazy with the size, but just enough room so that when you bought a collection, I wouldn't freak out that you filled the hole that I just fucking made.
So I don't want a big, giant comic store that needs 12 employees at all times. Yeah, no. I don't want a store
you just didn't want more of us.
That's in a Target shopping center with I have to have kids running around. I like being the smaller store, little hidden away, but I still like being the store. I like the store that we are, right? Yeah. I'm never going to say no to new customers, but there's a store here that was a mall store that recently moved into a big shopping center next to Target. And the clientele that they have to deal with is not the clientele that I want to deal with. Yeah. I like being a smaller store.
Well, we're a destination location.
A little more freedom. Yeah. Now, I wouldn't mind the center being remodeled. I wouldn't mind the store that I'm in physically looking nicer.
Oh, no. I mean,
building's very old.
If we could get a little more space and a remodel.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I've done a couple remodels here through the years.
It's like, how many have you done? Like 4 or 5?
Like 3 big ones.
3 big ones, yeah.
And a couple smaller ones. But, we're at the point now where I don't know what else to do, and, it is a very old
You've done
building.
A lot, actually. Since he got the store, a lot of things have been changed out. All for the better, I feel like.
I hope so, but I physically can't. The store will look the way the building looks. I mean, unless I dump $100,000 into a building that I don't own.
Well, it was always like, how can it be more efficient? How can I get more dollar for the space and more books? And I think you basically got. I think throughout the years it was like, well, I did this, and then you sat on it for a couple of years, like, what else can I do? Yeah. And you did that.
And Brock knows.
Yeah,
he sees that twitch in my eye, and I'm just must change.
What's funny is it always happens right about the time I'm done working at the school.
I was like, Brock, what's your schedule for we're remodeling the entire store next weekend.
I'm helping Anna move her store.
But I just wanted to, I like the way the store is, but it is a matter of trying to both at the same time find more space and make it more open.
Yeah.
I have condensed down as much as I possibly can and made the store as open as I possibly can.
And I think you reached the point where you just kind of reached it.
Yeah, and I've tried to also bring in more products, so it's somehow a decent amount of stuff, but takes up less space.
I think the first step that you took when you got the store, which was brightening it up, getting rid of the posters that covered the windows, and I mean, it was such a dark space in here. I remember coming here when I was a teenager, and I hated coming here because it felt like a dungeon. It felt like, and everything was overpriced, and you couldn't really look at anything, and it didn't really feel like a warm environment.
You mean a comic book store?
But that's not what a comic store necessarily needs to be, right?
Yeah, I mean, I went to R&K Comics at the little shop off of Calabasas and El Camino, and it was still inviting despite them not liking kids in the store.
Oh, I've been to some very little shops, and they're great, and I've been to some big shops, and they're a goddamn disaster and a mess. It's like big does not mean good. You could put a bunch of garbage in a big space, but I've seen locations around here that, like, man, I could... You give me a week in the store, and it would be so much better. But that's not my store, so what are you going to do?
Yeah, I think I think, I don't think it's major changes.
That's actually a question. What would you guys change about the store? Because you guys are never one to shy away from telling me, but...
Honestly, it's not necessarily something you have a ton of control over, but the only thing that ever kills me when I'm working here is when I'm talking to somebody, I have them pretty much sold on a book, go to the shelf.
It's not there.
And it's not there.
Well, you're talking about his horrible ordering skills. Yes. Good point.
That is a problem of the size of the store. I can't carry 10 copies of every trade on stock at all times. And most stores don't do that, right?
It's just the nature of the beast to a degree that it's bound to happen sometimes. But that's always when I like harass you for weeks on end, like, have you got this back in yet, Ryan? Because this is driving me insane.
Yeah.
I think
and then you tell me it's out of print, and then I curse the world.
Really
I think the difficult part, especially with the ordering, is, I mean, on a week-to-week basis, I mean, just the amount that we're processing here, I mean, it's a lot to deal with. And it is difficult for you to be on top of checking graphic novels to make sure we're stocked of stuff. And
it's funny with the trades. The thing that kills me with that is I actually should do the orders more often, because if I did it more often, they'd be a lot cheaper.
Yep.
And then be in more frequently. At the point I am now, I was better, and now I've slipped back a little bit. When I order them less frequently, I get like a $5,000 bill, and I'm like, oh, Jesus. But if every week it's just a couple $100, restock, I just need to get back. I always go back and forth. I'll look and be like, oh, I haven't reordered trades in like 6 weeks. Crap, we're out of like everything. Yeah. And even on this most recent order, because Brock was yelling at me, he's like, order Manifest Destiny Volume 1. Yeah. I actually ordered like 2 or 3 copies of all the volume number 1s, which is kind of a problem.
Well, I think what it is it's also, I mean, we all have particular books that we're going to recommend, and
Suicide Squad Volume 1.
Yeah, we got them all. That is like the problem book. Yeah, period. Like if you recommended Suicide Squad Volume 1 from the
last 6 months, it's always gone.
Since it came out, it's always at one point in time I've gone to the shelf and been like, Ryan hasn't reordered it.
I got 5 copies in now.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's not even necessarily that Ryan hasn't reordered it. It's always, you only have so much control over when merchandise gets here.
Yeah. If I could change Diamond, that's another story. That's a whole podcast.
Now you have to mention the gem of all gems of misships today.
Oh, I figured out why that happened. So we got a 5-year-old Ghost Rider variant cover in our box today. It's a misship. It was supposed to be a different item, but I found out why, because apparently Marvel dumped a bunch of their old variant covers cheap through Diamond. So that's why it was in the system. That's why they had it.
Oh, but why did it end up in ours?
Well, because it was just a misship. They grabbed the wrong item. But the fact that they had this super old variant cover just laying around, I was like, why would they even have this? Yeah. But that's why, because Marvel sent them boxes of crap. So, comics people.
Maybe Hastings sent it back.
Ooh, hey. Apparently they're getting their books this week. We'll see. Hopefully not. I want that Batman variant.
I do too.
All right.
If any of our listeners are near a Hastings, get me that Batman variant, please.
It's going to be like $100 or something stupid, I'm sure.
Yeah, because Hastings has to make their money back so they can pay off.
Yeah, Diamond and Funko. All right, Julian, thank you very much for being on this podcast.
Well, what you didn't ask Julian what he would change about the store?
I would bring it to Austin.
Good answer.
Franchise.
Brock can move there and open a second store.
We have plenty of room, but if you want to be a smaller store, then this might not be the place, because all of our stores in Austin are huge.
Well, sure.
But that's the thing is the different store, people are like, why is it small? I must go in there and investigate.
Yeah, if as long here when you're going up against $8 a square foot for a retail space, it's like you can only be a small store. You don't have a choice.
Right.
The only thing I would change is that there be an upstairs so I could work upstairs, and whenever I feel like yelling at Ryan, I just walk downstairs going, God damn it, Ryan. No, I'm kidding. I love
the Isotope with their upstairs little
man, I
lounge.
love that stuff. I love the upstairs.
The ceiling's pretty tall.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can do it, but
just go sit next to Grendel.
One, Stefano, I hate you now for this question. 2, Toby, I hate you for making a second floor, because at some point in time it's going to get in his brain, We could build a
No,
loft
it's
in
not
here.
gonna
No, there'd be no
happen.
way.
Yeah,
No,
it would be. Yeah, it'd be too.
No, but
stuffy.
you would still get the twitch.
No.
Nah.
I mean, if I took the
I still
ceiling
love
off
the
and-
idea of Toby up there with the Grendel, though, and just yelling down at Ryan.
But we had
That
these
would be
vaulted
awesome.
ceilings, so if they were
Ryan would shoot himself at that point.
if the start of the vaulted ceilings was 10 feet higher, then sure, absolutely, I'd have a whole second floor on it. Are you kidding me? Like, no question. Not the way it is now. You have to physically move that 10 feet and then start the ceiling.
Yeah.
Maybe, but no.
What if it was a clear floor?
That'd be weird.
Nah, the store is fine. I mean, it's as perfect as going to be, and I love it.
Julian,
Yes.
tell us all about yourself. Pimp yourself to the world.
Okay. As you hear every week on Comics Conspiracy, I do host the Nerds Without Pants podcast. Toby.
No pants.
That's right.
We both were like, Toby?
No pants.
And I'm actually really excited because since my first appearance on Comics Conspiracy, we have been in the process of tweaking the format of the show. We rolled out a new segment a few episodes ago, and we're in the process of rolling out another one. So we always had Consumption Junction, which is where we kind of talk about whatever media we've been consuming, always skewed with video games, but whatever comics or movies or what have you we're messing with at the time. But now we have Chrono Crossing, where we started with 2015, and every episode we go backwards in time and talk about our favorite game of that year. And it has to have been released in that calendar year.
How
it can't
would
be
you
like
know
a re-release.
that? This is like a Ryan Scott kind of
I was
thing.
going to say, so are you doing the reverse Ryan Scott? Did you listen to his Geek Box when he was doing that? We had the...
Wasn't he doing it by like a decade?
He was doing
it
by year. He was top 10 games
10.
by year.
How would I remember that?
And then when he got to like 2008, he's like, "Oh, I never finished these games because they're too new. I can't rank them anymore."
No, I mean, the internet is your friend in that situation.
Okay.
So you just kind of look them up. The wiki has been really helpful. I just kind of go, because it's usually set up by month, like everything that came out in order. And so I just kind of scroll down. It's like, oh, that's the one. But there are some years where I don't even need to look. Like when we get to like 2007, I've already got that locked in.
Unless you got some old farts like us on there, by the time you hit like the early 90s, no one's going to remember anything. When you go back to like the 80s, playing some old school Pac-Man or playing some NES. Or
the plan right now is to probably go back as far as 85, because I think if we go, because, we're all about, two of us are like 36, and then our other host is like 29. So, at that point, we haven't really played a lot of the old stuff.
Just tell him to download an emulator, emulate a couple years of worth of games, and he'll be good.
It's funny. I'm about to start playing Chronos Trigger for the first time. Oh,
nice.
Yeah, I never got it on the Super Nintendo. I always wanted to, and I finally picked up the DS version because
that's actually how I played it.
That's the best version.
Yeah, because I was worried it's going out of print, because I was like, oh, it's already not sold by Amazon. It's another seller. All I started to get worried. I was like, I better pick it up.
Yeah. So, and just real quick, our goal with this new format is to make the show more interactive. So we're really encouraging people to write in with their favorite game. And then the next thing we're rolling out is going to be called Stage Select, which is how we'll kick off each show. And that's going to be like a different thing every time. So I think it's going to be 2 episodes from the one that just came out this week. But what we're going to do with that first one is going to be like our top 5 games of all time, to kind of like let people get a good barometer for, what our tastes are. And then we'll just do whatever, like, like our favorite game designer, or our favorite boss fight, stuff like that. Just fun talking points that are quick. The idea is to do these segments in like 20 to 30 minute bits, so that because the show is usually about 2 hours, but this way we can break it down to where you can listen to this section and then move on, or you can just skip to the section you want to hear, or however you want to listen to it. If you want to listen to the whole thing in one go like I do, it's there. But if you want to break it up throughout the week, you can do that too. So.
Cool.
If I ever did that, it'd be a lot of Game Boy and Super Nintendo games.
We love our Game Boys and Super Nintendos.
Oh man, I'm very stuck in that era for some reason. I never moved on. It's like the era I love, and that.
Speaking of 2-hour-long podcasts, let's do this pick of the week thing. Let's get started. I totally forgot that.
I told you to do random picks.
Yeah, let's do random picks.
You're welcome, Patreon people.
Who's got their random pick? It's random. Pick.
Dark Knight, a true Batman story.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick.
I've got Jughead by Chip Zdarsky and Erica Henderson. It has become my favorite book whenever it comes in. It's like the first thing that I read, and it puts a smile on my face every time.
Nice.
Awesome.
I read that Archie book when we were talking about it on the podcast, and I just read it on the podcast while people were talking, and I really enjoyed it. I felt it was very June Hughes-y, and I really liked it.
Oh wait, was that your pick?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
The Archie and Jughead books are both actually really good, and Julian, your Chip Zdarsky love made me actually, and especially because it just got announced today, a series is ending. I will pick Howard the Duck because volume 0 is out right now, which is Chip Zdarsky and Joe Quinones. Howard the Duck is fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
It's a great book by Marvel. So Chip Zdarsky, I knew this guy when. I met him at Isotope when he was doing a comic called Prison Funnies. It must have been like 15 years ago at this point, and I was like, this guy. One day, this guy is gonna be the guy. And sure enough, like he's writing a ton of. I mean, he's writing like 3 or 4 books for Archie and
That's awesome.
Image and. He does Sex Criminals, right? He's doing a bunch of stuff for Marvel.
We had a lot of magic moments at that Isotope place.
Oh yeah. I just don't get a chance to go up as often anymore.
Yeah,
so.
Same here. Well, it's always like a WonderCon. I always had like one of the AfterCon parties.
Yeah.
And it was always a lot of fun.
Those were
it's always
amazing.
really packed.
Yeah,
like shoulder to shoulder. But
yep,
I think both
amazing.
of us had some really good memories from that place.
Well, with that San Francisco con starting up, maybe maybe James will start getting some stuff after that. So.
That'd be cool.
We'll see. Brock, you're pushing it now. You can't think of something.
Oh no, I know we're going to talk about the Rebirth books.
Yeah, no Rebirth.
So I didn't want to do any Rebirth books.
You know what? Actually,
you guys have been sticking with Independent.
We might be able to do Rebirth next week if everyone's caught up, because there's no more. It's a 5 Wednesday month, but there's no Rebirth books next week. I have no idea what DC's shipping next week. Like nothing. Like no comics.
They're probably shipping just graphic novels.
Maybe we can do Rebirth next week.
This weekend then.
I'm gonna go with
thrilling podcast, Brock.
Yeah, I know.
It's random. Pick random. In your think with your meat brain. Think of something.
You want me to think with my penis?
No. You don't read comics anymore. You read some shitty Image comics the other day.
I know which one I got. To get pumped for Suicide Squad, I've really enjoyed the Most Wanted mini that's been out. Issue 6 comes out, which is the end of it this week. And it follows
Deadshot and Katana
and Deadshot. Yeah. So really, really good stuff. I really enjoyed it. So
I like those characters.
Our issue 5 got misshipped, so we got it last week, and it's on the pile. But this week, number 6 is out, so I would highly recommend that one.
Cool. All right. Good picks, everyone.
What was yours, Ryan?
Random picks. What's that?
What was yours?
Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck. Yeah.
Howard the Duck. All right, we're gonna go. We're gonna thank some people before we leave.
Wait.
Oh shit!
You have something to announce.
Oh, thank you. This really is gonna be a 2-hour long episode. I do have something to announce. Thank you, Toby. Actually, I can't believe I almost forgot about this.
So do we have some special music for this announcement?
No. Well, no.
Magic music.
So we are actually hosting our very first movie at local cinema here on Monday, July 25th. We will be hosting a screening, a one-day only screening, of Batman Killing Joke, the DC animated movie that's going to be in theaters.
I hear Julian's keyboard. He's like typing, trying to make travel arrangements for some reason.
It's going to be one. So it's one day only. It's a Fathom event, and we are hosting one of the screenings here. It's going to be in Mountain View at the Century Shoreline, the Century Shoreline Theater.
So there's not a lot of seats then.
We have. So there's another show at the same time as ours that's in a slightly bigger theater that's pretty much already sold out.
Oh, okay.
So we have an entire theater to ourselves.
Yay!
We are going to have tickets on sale this upcoming Monday.
Yay!
Should be 10 a.m. is my hope.
Wait, the screening's at 10 a.m.?
No, the screening's at 7:30 p.m. on that Monday.
You know you're not being nice to the guys who are driving back all the way from San Diego, right?
I have to sell the tickets at some point. Yeah, you guys are going to be coming back from San Diego that same day?
And a little bit loony, too.
Yeah. Well, I got your ticket, don't worry. But for everyone else...
My worry is making it back on time.
It's... not buying the ticket.
Yeah.
You mean going to the movie. That's the day it is,
I know,
right? Because it premieres at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Right? And then isn't it out, like, the next day?
I guess so.
On DVD?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's out shortly after.
I think it's going to be so cool, though. It's going to be so cool.
Yeah, it's,
I'm very excited.
Animated Batman movie live in the theater. So
the Comic Conspiracy presents.
Yeah, so if you want
Can we do an intro for it, too?
we get a little bit of time if we want to do something.
Yeah!
We are hoping to get some good giveaways and promo stuff from DC and Warner Brothers. We're in the talks, trying to figure out what they're going to do.
Can I shoot the T-shirt cannon?
Maybe if we go on. So if you're interested in going, this upcoming Monday, which is a day that I'm going to say, the 27th. June 27th, I'll say 10 a.m. should be up on our site, comicsconspiracy.biz. I will have links on Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff. If you're local and you want to pick up your ticket in store, you can do that. I will have a number set aside specifically for our regular customers in store. All the rest will be available online or also in store, so don't worry. If you're a regular, if you're one of my subscribers or you're one of our regular customers, I'll pencil you in for a copy. Brock likes that. Little Dark Knight joke there.
You're the one that brought it up.
So yeah, Killing Joke, R-rated Batman movie. Don't bring your kids.
Animated R-rated Batman movie.
Yeah, don't bring your kids. But I think it's going to be great. And we actually, I don't want to officially announce it yet.
Jinx it.
But as far as I know, we're doing it. A week and a half later, we're going to be hosting a screening of Suicide Squad in the same theater.
So, Mitch, this is where your traveler plans need to start?
So it's not... I haven't signed the paperwork for that yet, but as far as I know, it's happening. So we might have tickets for Suicide Squad available in like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
But for now, let's worry about Batman. Let's worry about Dark Knight. So yeah, if you want to come see it with all of us, $12.50 a ticket, normal, pretty much normal.
No, you need to
price.
let people know this theater. You can have beer. And there are reclinable seats.
There's alcohol, reclining seats. It is a reserved seat theater. However, since we're doing the private screening, there's no reserved seats. It's just first come, first serve, except for my seat. My seat's reserved, of course, because fuck all of you. I have to have my seat. But all the rest of you...
Don't worry, everybody. His seat is in the very back anyway, so the best seats are still available.
The best seat in the very back.
Julian, does that sound like a character from Big Bang Theory?
What?
No, we don't talk about that show.
We don't. Let's not talk about that. But yes, Killing Joke.
Yes.
This upcoming Monday, 10 a.m. Tickets should be on sale. It's Monday.
Wait, you sure you're doing at 10 because you're not at the store yet? You usually do it at home before you drive here?
11 a.m. This
good
job. When I'm here, and the tickets will be on sale. 11 a.m.
Can they call you to order tickets?
I guess if you want to do it over the phone.
Can they tweet at you to order tickets?
You have to pay me money. I don't think you can do that in a tweet.
But message
anyway, they're $12.50 a ticket. The Comics Conspiracy Up is Twitter, all our regular crowd. It'll be up there. It's 7:30 Monday. Be aware of that. July 25th. Mountain View, Century 16, Shoreline is the theater. So that should be pretty cool. We've done big store outings before. For every big movie, every big comic movie, we'll get
40 to 50 people.
It was nearly 70 for Civil War, right?
This is something that you've been wanting to do for a while.
Yeah,
and I think
but now it's actually this isn't just me going to Fandango and picking up 100 tickets. This is officially we're having a theater for ourselves.
But this is what we wanted to do because
and depending on how this rolls, we can actually start to get to bigger seating theaters and everything. I did 100. It's like 102 seats.
Start small.
It's the mid level. It's a mid-sized theater. So if we sell out, I could start rolling, especially on Squad or something. I can start rolling these are the bigger theaters. So. The Marvel movies, unlikely we can actually get them. That Century Theater is very popular, and they have some corporate accounts that have rented that place out in advance.
Yeah.
So it's not like every movie we're gonna do this for, but I'm gonna try for everything we can and make it a little more official. So looking forward to this. All right,
if you do enough of them, they might start giving you preferential treatment.
I would hope so.
I was going to say, if you want, I'll do a video intro for it.
That'd be cool. We don't get to put stuff on the screen. As far as I know, we don't.
Bring a fucking projector. We'll do a Jerry ragged.
Well, let's thank.
We can't put Toby's Man of Steel commentary trailer.
Accidentally run that instead.
Yeah, we do it like the Alamo Draft House, or doing our own little previews and stuff beforehand.
Well, let's thank all our good friends for Patreon, including Julian Titus and his podcast, Nerds Without Pants Podcast at pixelbit.com. Thank you once again, Julian, for being on this episode.
Hey, Julian.
We also have all sorts of other friends. Albert Soy, he's got his app, Plant Everywhere. That's on iTunes. Check that out. Ryan Hess, he's got that Preach podcast. 3 fools in the desert preach to you about whatever is on their mind. I don't know. Sounds a little
Breaking Bad-ish?
A little Breaking Bad, maybe. Yeah.
Which one
Preacher.
of them is Wilson?
And Ryan Hess does say that Preacher is one of the greatest comics he's ever read, and he thanked me for telling him to buy it. So you're welcome. Everyone should buy Preacher. It's amazing.
Have you gotten anybody that said you needed to give the money back?
No, and I'll tell that if you buy Volume 1 and you absolutely hate it, send it to me and I'll pay you for it. So what's up, Toby?
I want to take you up on this offer.
You love Preacher. What are you talking about?
No, I don't.
You haven't even read it. Shut up.
That's true, because I can't pass the art.
Oh, it's so good. Steve Dillon makes that book.
Yeah.
Jody Lawson, he's got that Canon Triad Comics anthology at triadcomicsstudio.com. Make sure you go pick up some comics for them. John Nesmith, drinkingwithbatman.libsyn.com.
It sounded like you just said jerking with Batman.
If you want to drink with Batman, you could do it at the Century Theater 16 with us.
Yeah.
While we're watching Batman. You could drink with Batman at this movie theater. It's perfect. Peter Blanco, Nerded Up on YouTube. That's Nerded Up TV. YouTube.com/NerdedUpTV. He helps produce that. Again, Julian Titus, Nerds of the Pants podcast. Say it once, say it twice. Josh Redding, he's got Tangent Break. That's a podcast. Make sure you want to check that out, as well as Twilight.
That's a great podcast.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I have multiple episodes of everyone's podcast that I need to listen to.
Are we going to now talk about podcast saturation?
I actually have moved a lot of the podcasts that I listen to over to audiobook status and then increased the speed on the audiobook.
You can just get Overcast and just do it naturally.
Try to burn through... I need to not have... I only have an iPod Classic. It doesn't
you can
have...
still get an app? No?
No.
Oh, yeah?
No, it's not to touch or anything.
I put it on the Overcast, and you have smart speeds. You can see like all the breaks go away, or double speed it, triple speed it.
Yeah, I need to do that for some
stuff. You can
stuff.
listen to everybody sound like chipmunks.
I got so many podcasts to listen to. Twilight of Ages and Dot of Darkness, those are his novels on Amazon. Pick those up. We also have Manoa plays Sam Shea, Talon Bray, and Peter Parker. Real name. It's funny. Those are other high-tier backers. I thank every single person that backs us on this podcast.
Thank you, guys.
All of you.
Thank you very much.
It is appreciated.
Especially Julian.
Aw, thank you, guys.
And theComicConspiracyPodcast.com. Geekbox.net, iTunes. This is where you can find this podcast. Rate and review us, please. Where can they find all your lovely stuff besides pixelbit.com? Do you have anything? With your Twitter? Give us all your
my personal Twitter is at Julian_Titus, and you can find the show at NWPcast, especially if you want to get in on that Chrono Crossing segment that we've been having so much fun with.
That Pixelbit, that still work?
Yeah, Pixelbit still works.
Okay. Yeah. I can change it.
NWP still makes me laugh.
The Comic Conspiracy at Geekbox.net. That's where you can send us some emails that we'll read occasionally. Contact form is also on there at Geekbox.net. Patreon.com/ComicConspiracy if you want to have your name read on this podcast and or other stuff. And yeah, that's on that too. Speaking with Julian, we owe you some books. We've been really bad at this. I owe you a bunch of books, actually. Digital.
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything.
It's Brock's problem. Brock's the shipping receiving manager. It's fine.
You don't even tell me anybody needs anything.
It's fine.
And I remind you, do I need to ship? No.
Well, the big stack of Rebirth books coming your way, buddy. Digital.comicsconspiracy.biz. That's where you can go buy all your digital comics from us. We love it when you buy on there, and a lot of you have been buying a lot of books recently.
How are our Comixology numbers lately?
Pretty good.
Nice.
Conspiratobrock.com. That's Brock's blog and video pull list. Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension, Charlie's Doctor Who podcast. Check those out. Etsy.com/shop/Leanne Hill Art. That's my wonderful wife Leanne's Etsy store. Buy some art from her.
Constantine.
She just did a Constantine for the upcoming Heroes and Villains convention. Mm-hmm. Ryan Higgins, Ryan Brock Sager, Larson Bryce, Toby XI, Insanity and Chaos, ComicsCon store, and Julian_Titus. That's all of us on Twitter. Geekbox Comedy Button, Good Job Brain, I'll Talk Podcast, Manga Machinations. Those are little podcasts on our network, as well as Nerdzilla Pants. It's not on our network, but you should still listen to that podcast as well because, hey, it's
no pants.
No pants.
No pants.
No pants.
All right.
Keep it pantsless internet.
2 bloody hours. God, and we started so late, too. I got to go home. It's Wednesday tomorrow. I have to sell comic books, so... Julian, thank you once again.
Does tomorrow because this past Wednesday blew your mind.
This past Wednesday was the single best Wednesday I've ever had in the history of the comic store. I will have to run some numbers to double check that, but I am confident in that. It is redonkulous.
Wow, congratulations!
Nuts. Thank DC.
So Julian, just make sure to send Ryan and CC me an email of the books that you demand from him because he hasn't gotten you your books. But make sure you CC me on it. Okay.
Yeah, I owe some bucks. All right, we're going to wrap up now. Julian, thank you once again.
Thank you, Julian.
Yeah, anytime, guys. Thanks.
We'll do, and we will catch everyone next week.